Hello. What it do? You remember people used to say that? What it do? Ugh. I was talking to my aunt for about 2 hours earlier, and she's like, I'm probably out of everybody in my family. I feel like I'm more like her than anyone else, with like the direct honesty, the no time for like trying to make up excuses. Like I like we me and my aunt are. I feel like I'm definitely out of everybody in my family, on my dad's side of the family. I feel like I'm most like her. But yeah, I was talking to her for about 2 hours. But yeah, hope everybody's doing all right. I got a review for different earbuds, and I got a story behind them. Well, not much of a story. It's not really that important, but so I'm gonna review those in a minute. What's up, Elijah? What's up, man? What's up, MG Verde? What's up, Mo? Yeah, long time no see, man. Yeah, man. I'm teaching. I'm just doing so much stuff, man. I can't keep up with anything, to be honest. You know, um, I'm just doing so much, right? I'm just doing. I'm honestly just kind of doing a little too much right now. Um, but the good part is that it is like all of my choosing. I'm not really like I don't feel like I'm particularly stuck in having to do any of it. Like I'm just genuinely interested and want to do these things. Um, so it's not like I'm like completely trapped or anything like that. But I think I bit off more than I can chew with this because I was teaching one woman. I got the director at a bank, right? And she asked me because it had been a while since I seen her too, and she asked me, uh, have I did I go on vacation? And my immediate reply was, I think I was eating something, and I was like, my life is a vacation, and I was like eating, you know what I mean? And but here's the like, I seriously mean, I didn't say that just to be snarky or something. Like, I genuinely feel like my life is a vacation. Like even when I'm doing and because you know that everybody knows that bullshit line of like if you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. Like on some points that is bullshit, but then it's like in my situation, like since I genuinely do what I choose to do, um, when I sit back and think about it, the last thing I think about is a vacation. I don't think about like having to go away or do anything. Like everything that I'm doing in my life is everything that I want to do. So like when she asked me if anybody were to ask me if I went on vacation, like I just don't I don't think of vacation. I don't think of like that. Like I need to get away these kind of things, right? Like I just don't feel it. I don't feel it. So I would say like if that saying if you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. It is true, but I think here's the I think that most people who say that don't really get it. Yeah, I think it's one of those things you just have to just kind of just know it and then think back like yeah, you kind of thing. But I never really think about I would never tell someone to to have that outlook on life. Like I would tell someone if they were looking for a job. I use the same thing, generally the same thing that Alan Watts used when people ask like what should they do with their life and blah 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 da da da. I use the same question that Alan Watts asked. He said, okay, what would you do? But I take it a step further. I say, what would you do if I were to lock you up in a mansion and I could bring you whatever you wanted, but you had to stay in that mansion for years, right? Of course, most time men's first answer is, of course, they want a woman, right? Every man will say the first thing. It's usually like the first few steps whenever I ask men this. It's always the first few steps. The first one is always, well, I want a woman, right? Maybe two or three different body types or ages or something like that. And then, we talk about that, and then it goes, oh, okay, well, I'll eventually get tired of a woman. Then what? You know, then, whether it's carpentry or painting or anything like that, um, that's what you really want to do, right? If you can, and it may not just be one thing, it may be a mixture of things. Like for me, it's a mixture. I have to have different, completely different things going. Some people can just do one thing. But that's the outlook on life that I use the same. Well, I take Alan Watts' example and take it another, because I think Alan Watts' example kind of falls into that stereotypical bullshit of like, yeah, you should just do what you love. Like I'll take it a step further to force people into that realization what they actually can see themselves doing in reality. So that's why I tend to use a more extreme when I use examples, I always take it to more extreme examples to get my point across. Because like I said, most men their first reply is going to be a woman, right? Every man I've ever talked to, it's usually, well, I want a woman, and then I want multiple women, and then it's da 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 da, and that da 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 da. That's what they actually want to do. Once you strip away the societal pressure of what you should do, worrying about if it's going to pay a lot, once you strip out all the societal worries and you can truly think about just existing, then what would you do? That's what you are in life. That is what that's what you need to focus on building your life around. You may not be able to go out there and get it immediately, but to force I'm not. It sounds like I'm like directing this towards him. I don't mean to direct this towards personally to Mo or anybody in here. I'm just generally speaking. When it comes time for like vocational help, like find that my method of helping people is define what they actually want to do and then build their life up around that. Because again, you may not necessarily become a race car driver or anything, but build your life so it can fuel that thing. And that came all from my rant about vacation. So sorry. Mr. Last live streams, what's up, D? What's up, Bobby? What's up, Oliver Biscuit? Ask Diatom. But yeah, so I bought these. These are the AirPod, the newest ones, right? And these was like almost, I think it was like $300, right? Because I'm taking my son to school and I'm walking around downtown Prague, and my AirPods, my old AirPods, they're not broken, but I just cannot get the audio up in the right one. So it's just off, and I don't know how to. I've tried everything to fix it. I've tried like putting alcohol in it with a cotton swab. I tried this. Somebody said just suck on it to get it. I think it's just fucked up. So I want some new earbuds. So I bought these first, right? And these are I bought these from the app you redistributor, because they don't have Apple stores here. I bought this from them, and honestly, I absolutely do not recommend. These AirPod Pro 3s. I do not, with a capital DONOT, do not waste your money on these. Because I even went on YouTube to listen to other reviewers, and here's the thing: I figured it out. Everybody who's ever going to review Apple is always going to suck Apple's cock, because they secretly think that Apple's going to give them some endorsement deal, some shit like that. I will tell you my 100% honest review of these versus this $20, $25 pair of CMF, but this by Nothing. That's the brand name is Nothing. I seen these on sale for $20, $25. I said, I'll try them. After I bought these, because whenever I buy something relatively premium, I always buy something cheap as a backup plan to compare it, to see if it was really worth it. Long story short, these are absolutely not worth it. These are 100% worth it times 3. Okay. I use Apple Music. I have an iPad, this MacBook, and an iPhone. I cannot get consistent bass out of these. I cannot get consistent decent qualities of bass, especially Apple Music for some reason is by far the worst. I can't get Apple Music to work right on anything with these. Now Apple Music works great with these $20 nothing buds, but these AirPods, I can't get Apple Music to work right. It always sounds a little fucked up. The audio, the bass, every type of bass is fucked up with these. Now, all the other parts sound good. Okay. Um, the noise cancellation, it's cool. But when you watch these reviews of people just like, oh my God, so no, they're fucking lying, dude. I have them literally right here. I don't know how I could test it to get you guys to like hear it, but I mean, it's good because I'm walking around a city where there's trams and trains. I don't. Maybe it's my and I'll admit maybe it's my ear, but like my left ear, like if there's a train or there's like this loud like construction going on, because I tested it, I get this weird, like this super weird sound at the. Maybe my ear's not fitting the thing right, but I get this really weird sound that is, and it's really uncomfortable when the noise canceling is on. Um, I don't like them. I don't like these. I don't like them. I would return them, but they don't take returns because they label it it's a hygiene issue, so they don't take. I would literally take these back to the store. They're not worth it. I'm very disappointed. So since I can't take them back, I'll keep them. Maybe Apple will send out an update to fix these little problems. I don't know, but these are not worth. These are not worth $100. These are like now. These by the nothing. I bought these for $25, and as soon as I put these in and synced them in, the bass immediately worked like as it should. Everything worked perfectly great. I game with these. I was playing Guardians of the Galaxy on PC with these on my PC, and it worked out the box. These were everything that I thought these were gonna be, and the AirPods are junk. Like I said, if I could, these would be back in the store. I would take them back, without a doubt. I would highly recommend these. They were on sale for $25. I think normally they're like $50, but these are the CMF by Nothing Buds. I think 2A, or not even like the top ones. These are like the 2A version, and these are by far better. 100%, 100%. The little areas where this does do a little better, like if you have like a Mac, but if you have the whole Apple ecosystem thing, that's cool. Okay, you can, if you want to switch to the iPad, to your phone, to the MacBook and listen to music, or just play any YouTube or whatever, the audio will immediately switch. That's cool, but that is in no way that, and like the little Find My app and all that shit. None of that, even the premium build, none of that validates this being $250 more than this at all. At all. Now, the other problem is with these kind of reviews, right? Some people, like for example, like if some people just can't afford Apple, right? Then they just immediately hate on Apple. Okay, I'm not one of those people, because some people will just turn into the like what Coach Red Pill used to say. Well, the grapes were sour anyway, so I didn't want them. They'll just turn into that fucked up wolf in that story. So that there's a wolf in this. I forget where the story was, but how it originated. But there's a wolf who was trying to get grapes off a tree, but the tree was just so not off a tree, but like off a grapevine. But the grapes were so high, I think, that the wolf just couldn't get to the grapes. He couldn't get his mouth to get a grape. So after like continuously trying, the wolf just gives up and goes, well, I didn't want the grapes anyway. They were sour, and walks off. There's a lot of people who will just hate on Apple because of that. They just don't want to like Apple. I like Apple. But these AirPods ain't it, bro. Do not buy them. Fuck any Apple endorsement. Fuck. I don't give a fuck about that. Fuck them. I will tell you my honest opinion about them. These are trash. compared to these, and these were $20. Don't. Just don't. Just don't. Even when you count in the Apple ecosystem, it's still no. That does not, no. I'm extremely disappointed with them. I will probably never buy another pair of AirPods again, unless there's some drastic jump in technology that they only they have, which I doubt it at this point because they don't innovate anything anymore. It's just a status symbol now. Um, and not even a good status symbol on top of that because they're not really doing anything with it. Um, I'm Yeah. So that's my rant over about the AirPods. Overrated junk, overpriced junk. Not junk. Junk is kind of harsh. I would say pretentiously overpriced. I think that's a more professional way to put it. Pretentiously overpriced. Again, when a pair of $20, $25 earbuds will sound better, work better with any app than literally Apple's own music software doesn't work with their own shit. Okay, just don't. You say you like Raycons, Mr. Commander? See that was my problem because there's so many different ones to try and choose that and then with these earbuds you can't try them out to see how they sound before you buy them, so you're pretty much just screwed if you don't like the pair you get, unless maybe in America, because America does have better return policies. Maybe in America you return it, but over here they on the website it says, yeah, well, they don't take it because of hygiene, because it has to go in your ear. Because Europe's return policy, they still never really get, a lot of Europe still hasn't really come to that Westerner understanding of, like, customer service and return policies. They still on that poor mentality of, if you buy it, then you just got to keep it and live with it. That outdated shit. Not all of Europe, but like especially Central and Eastern Europe can still play that a lot. I never really buy Apple products because everyone dick rides Apple too much. Yeah. Here's the thing, man. Okay, the reason, now I'll say this, the reason why I would have never bought anything Apple to start with. How I got into Apple was because I had an aunt who bought all Apple shit, and she died like literally the same week that I came to Czech Republic the very first time. She died. And since nobody else in my dad's side of the family does computer work, they gave it to me. And that's how I ended up with MacBooks and all this shit. I got it from her. And once I seen that ecosystem, I was like hooked on it from them. But I didn't pay for any of it. No, no. Let me say that. I bought my AirPods. I did buy the AirPods. And I was hooked on it after, because I never liked Mac, because we used to have Macs in high school and stuff. I never cared. They always looked like cleaner, like the OS looked cleaner and stuff, but I just never liked it. Those big color, that's how old I am. They were like big and they had different colors and you was see through. We used to have them in my high school and I never cared for them. But when the iPhone had first come out, when the first smartphones had come out, I still have that memory of like all the other smartphones just being a complete piece of junk. Like every competitor was literally like just junk. Like nobody could compete with the iPod or the iPhone. That quality and consistency and quality, no one else could compete with it from my experiences. So like my memory is always going to be from that time, from like literally the iPhone 1. Like that's my history of it. But I think now I'm really starting to think Android's pretty much caught it, because I bought my son this little cheap Android phone. It's actually pretty good. I don't have a problem with it. So I think I may end up jumping, like if something happens with this phone, well, now I got these AirPods and that's how they keep you stuck with Apple shit. I might just sell these AirPods. I really don't like them. Um, I may make the jump to Android, try out Android for a while. But yeah, it's that ecosystem, man. It's that syncing up and all that. That's what gets you, like with the photos and all. Maybe Android has their own. I don't know, but Apple is just like smooth with that. But yeah, people do dick ride the hell out of Apple. I'm not a dick ride. I like their shit, but like I have two gaming computers in the other room. which of course are Windows. It's not going to be Apple. And I got all this shit: this iPad, this MacBook, and my iPhone. Let me see, D, because I wanted to read this comment. D says, if someone has to get away, that means they're not pleased where they're at. Also, that question of what do you do for fun? Most people expecting some adventurous action or something they like. Oh, yeah. And, yeah, and people end up in places where they don't like for any reason, man. It could be anything. 'Cause I didn't mean to infer it was like their intentional fault. I didn't mean to infer that at all. Let's see. What's up, Dibs? What's up, Super? I bought the new Beats Fit Pro by Apple. I'm returning them ASAP. Jay, oof! I just farted. Jay, you say, what are the Beats Fit? Let me Google that. I don't know what that is. Are they earbud? Oh, okay, yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried them. But here's the thing. I remember when Beats first came out, and I went to Best Buy to try them out, and I was not impressed. I still remember that because everybody was all about Beats by Dre, Beats headphones by Dr. Dre, and I still remember I went to Best Buy to try them out, and literally my gaming headphones that my buddy gave me for free. They were Turtle Beach or Turtle Creek or something like that. I forget. They were green and black. The gaming headphones that he gave me were much better than those first Beats by Dre. I was not impressed at all. I went to Best Buy to try them out in Ohio, and I was it was almost laughable how bad they were. They just every part of them was just there was nothing at all good about them. I know people really enjoyed Skull Candy back in those years. I never owned a pair of Skull Candy headphones. Um, I never really liked headphones. I always preferred like the ear. I never liked cords, and then I didn't like the overhead cans because like they're just too clunky, and you can't really like. They're just too clunky. But I never really cared for cans, um, on a whole. So when Apple did make the AirPods, like I jumped, like I really wanted those because I always wanted because I am that person. I am that person who will if I'm listening to music and it's on a chord, like I will get so immersed that I'll get up and just walk off and drag the whole computer off the desk. Like I will do that. So when I seen that they made like AirPods that were not on a string and the battery was good and they sound good at the time, the quality, I jumped on those. Like I couldn't wait to get those. Because actually, I tried every other cheap pair, every Motorola pair, all those other little cheap pairs before that, and none of the other ones were consistently good at all. Like I remember I had the collar. Like I don't know if you guys remember that like I think they still make them. Like it was like a collar, and then you put the ear, but they were wireless. The whole apparatus essentially was wireless from the actual hardware, but it still had like the wire from the collar up there. And I remember I had this one pair. They didn't sound bad, but I'm not exaggerating. Every time I turned my head to the left, I would just lose connection. Like, and it was never consistent. And they weren't cheap either. I remember I took those back. I tried even the ones every Bluetooth pair I tried, they were all pieces of shit until I just got the AirPods. And the AirPods just were. I still got the AirPods in another room. I still got them. And they, like I said, but the right one, I've had them for like five years or something like that. It's been a long time. Because that was back when I was in Chescalipa. But yeah. That's when Apple cared enough about consumer innovating. Yeah. Yeah, JM. Now Apple's just like just shooting the same dumb shit out. Oh, I got an alert. I didn't know. Oh, Cashapp. Thank you, MDC. Can you do Friday live stream? Yeah, I just seen that. Okay. I didn't know I could get alerts on the laptop. Just now. I go. Yeah, I do it, man. I'm loading up my email right now so I can grab it. I just seen somebody M4. Hang on. Let me go to my email. Here it is. I see it. Okay. I was in a 37-year. Okay. So I got it up now. All right. More stores in the States don't take back headphones too. It's a hygiene issue. Yeah, I remember that from the receipt from Beats by Dre headphones, which are also overpriced. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. That's a shame because you can't try them out, so you don't even know what they sound like, and you're just kind of stuck with them when you get them, and then trying to go off, other people's reviews. So I pretty much learned after this debacle with these, like, don't trust anything on Reddit about that. Don't trust any reviewer about these, okay? Because they're literally right here. Right, I would try the microphone just to see, but I'm too afraid because Streamlabs is so inconsistent. It might crash the whole computer if I switch the microphone to these AirPods. But I called my dad with them, and he said they sound great. Um, but these are absolutely not worth 300. There is no reality where these should be this. So I'm going to go ahead and self-sacrifice myself to help others. Do not buy these. Period. With a capital PERIOD and a capital period after that, and then a period in parentheses after that, just to make sure you miss the other periods. Okay, just don't. This is a complete waste of money. These are just simply better. If you want to listen to music. My dad said the phone quality on this one. He thought I called my dad 2 days later after I bought these, and he thought that I was talking on these. And I called him on these. So the microphone was even fine. Like, just don't. It's a waste of money. Complete waste of money. You should come to California and check it out. I'll show you around. Well, yeah, man, I was out there years ago. But yeah, I'd love to, man. Uh-oh, what did I just do? I lost something. Okay. Actually, my aunt was asking me if I was going to come back because I was talking to her for 2 hours before I started this. She has asked me if I was going to come back because she wants to see her grandnephew, I think would be it now. Because, of course, they've never seen him. And we were just talking about how he doesn't know English and this and that, and, it'd be a challenge. I'm an Android. What's up, Ray Ray? I'm an Android user. I'm an Android user for phone, Mac for laptop. The newer MacBook with the M4 AI chip is nice. They have an AI chip now? Okay. I'm still on this, and this is the same M1. And I was telling my dad, like this laptop is still great. The only issues that I've ever had with this laptop is that just randomly a button will start to stick, and it'll do it for like 2 weeks and then be fine. Like, it'll just be completely random on the keyboard. I've never spilled anything on the keyboard or anything like that. It's just random. Right now my A button is fucking up. So like, I'll press it and it just won't work. You know what I mean? But like, and it'll do it with different. I think for a while it was the B key before, and it'll just do it for like a week or two, and then just disappear, and it'll be fine, and it won't do it again. And it'll be another key somewhere that'll do it. But in terms of battery life on this thing, the speaker, everything about this M1 is wonderful. Every MacBook I've ever owned, whether I paid for it or got it for free, every MacBook I've ever owned, everything was great on it. Everything. The screen looks great. The speakers are always good. The microphone's always good. No complaints with MacBooks. None at all. Not one. But yeah, I think I'm going to switch over to Android. Especially if something happens to this phone. As I was looking at the Nothing, because this company, Nothing, they make phones too. Now, I'm a little sketched out about their phones because I think they use their own operating system. And like, I'm a little sketched out with that because when you get to these smaller brands and companies, if something goes wrong, that sense of stability and confidence and them fixing it kind of goes lower. I'm not saying Apple fixes everything. I'm sure they fuck up too, but it's just that general logic. Like for example, like with between like a MacBook and then like a Windows PC. Like if you got a problems on Windows, you can just easily download somebody else had that problem and just download something to somebody. Windows has that massive history of people fucking with it and learning it thoroughly. So like a problem on Windows could generally be easier to fix than on Mac, because Mac locks down all their shit to where nobody can do anything unless they do a lot of shit to it. And it's just that balance. So like Windows and Android is usually gonna be like the easiest one because everybody will have some experience with it. And then Apple is gonna be like lower on the list because generally people who are mostly going to be interested in that are usually just chasing social status and not really intelligence with it. And then you got these little brands like these CMF nothing. Like I just don't know. I don't, and they're just not anywhere near as big. But I do have these headphones are great, or earbuds are great, and I would definitely vouch for them. I'll tell you to buy. I will endorse them for free. Go buy those. You're not gonna be disappointed. They may not. I'm sure there's probably some better earbuds out there, but you're not gonna be completely disappointed. Especially if you get them on sale like I did for $25. You're not gonna be disappointed unless they break in a week. That's about it. MG Verde, what's up, man? I'm not an Android brown noser, but it's more flexible for Lil Kratos. Speaking of, I wonder how he's doing. Oh man, he's sick, man. Because there's a sickness going around now with the kids. I hear it's called like fourth year sickness or 4 times something. I don't know, but the kids are getting it. We've been sick. Everybody and everybody's kids have been sick, off and on sick for the last month, man. I've been sick like every other week. He's been sick every other week. His mom doesn't get sick. I don't know. She's some kind of fucking mutant from X-Men. She just never gets sick. Or she does. It doesn't last long. But, and he's always hugging up on her, crawling up under her, coughing, sneezing, throwing up, and she never gets it. I'll get it, but she never gets it. She must have got bit by a radioactive housewife or some shit and became immune to all children's diseases. I don't know what the fuck happened, but she never gets it. He's sick now. Yeah. What's up, man? Have I watched any good films lately? Well, this isn't a film, but I don't know if you're into comic books, but I've read the Absolute Batman came out a few days ago, and I read that. It was a really short comic. I don't know. I think they're running out of money or something because it was really short. But Absolute Batman's really good. I'm really into Absolute Batman the most in comic books right now. I usually don't watch movies until I just get sick. I'm trying to think. I haven't watched anything. I don't watch movies unless I'm getting sick or I am sick. Then for some reason I just crave junk food and movies. When I'm sick with anything, I just want candy, potato chips, sugary juices from the store, and movies and TV shows. Well, only when I'm sick. So no, Javi, no, man. How about you? The last version of Beats Fits Pros are better than the new ones. The new ones feel even more cheaply made. Austria, do you have the mind of a scholar? Well, I guess technically I am. I just don't bring it up. I don't think I bring it up a lot. But yeah, she wants to see Kratos. Okay, maybe I'm reading it wrong. I don't know. What's up, Flick? Oh yeah, but yeah. The beats that was Yeah, I was like, I was extremely. I remember I was extremely let down when I tried the very first Beats headphones. They were just not anything. And here's the thing with this. Here's the other thing with this noise canceling. With this noise canceling technology, um, and it's funny because this is not the most personally, but it was in California. I was in California when I bought my first pair of noise canceling headphones. And I didn't even know what noise canceling was. This was 10 years ago when I was in California. This is when I was still back in the U.S. I was in California, me and a buddy of mine, we went to Best Buy, and I bought a pair of some. They were because and I bought they were like the cheapest headphones I could find. They came in a blue box, and they were Sony, and they had noise cancellation. And this was before because earbuds, headphones, they're starting to become the status symbol now. Back then, they weren't really a status symbol. 10 years ago, they weren't a status symbol like that in any kind of way. I mean, maybe in some smaller areas where people listen to music, but like it wasn't a thing where like just everyday regular Valley white girls were walking around with expensive headphones on. See, the regular Valley white girls didn't walk around. They weren't walking around. At least I never seen them back then because they weren't pop. The AirPods kind of brought that generation into making headphones a status symbol. But anyway, back to the noise canceling. I remember I didn't even know what noise canceling was, and they were a pair of black headphones. And I remember I didn't even notice anything because I didn't know. I didn't know anything about it. And I remember when we got on the airplane, the fly back to Ohio from Vegas. Did we fly back? Yeah, from Vegas. And I was sitting on the plane and I turned on the noise canceling without even realizing it. And I remember I took my headphones off and the jet engine, whatever the fuck, was so loud, I hadn't even realized what the noise canceling was actually even doing until that moment, right? Now, in reality, that noise cancellation technology has not gone much further. Okay. I mean, I guess it's impressive when you can put it in something small like this, but I don't even know because I don't build these things. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But in terms of actual functionality, it's not much further than it was 10 years ago. But they're selling it at like crazy prices now. But I remember like it was yesterday. That was when I first realized just how much noise was being canceled when just hit this little. And I forget. I think I lost those headphones. I really like those headphones too. You had to put the battery in them. They weren't rechargeable. You had to put batteries in them. Um, and I missed those headphones. I'm pretty sure I just lost them. Hey, I just saw a video saying their biological clock is a lie told by science. You're right. They shouldn't give each other advice. 80, I don't know if you saw, but I just watched Raven the Hunter for the second time, and I saw why people didn't like. Oh, Craven the Hunter. Okay, I haven't watched it. I'm trying to think. I haven't watched it. I was watching clips of Logan earlier today. Coincidentally enough, I was watching little like, clips of, and Logan was just. I thought Logan was just a great movie. Not a great movie, but it was a really good. It was a really good movie. I think Logan was probably about the best superhero movie that between Logan and Blade. Blade probably hasn't aged well. I'm talking like Wesley Snipes Blade. The first two. The third one was with Ryan Reynolds was terrible, but the first two. Again, maybe they haven't aged well. Maybe I'm just being an old boomer with that shit. But but I think Logan was about the best overall movie. Um, yeah, I watched a little bit of Craven, and I think I just turned it off. It wasn't even worth watching for free. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly. I do want to watch Thunderbolts, the newest one, because I've been watching clips of that on YouTube, and that doesn't look too bad. It is a little awkward when they try to use the Eastern European accent, and they're using all the perfect adjectives and adverbs and plural phrases, but they barely speak English. Like, as a person who lives over here, like, I immediately see how awkward that looks in the movie. When that what's that the girl name, the little cute girl Poe, whatever her name is. She tried to talk like this, like as if she is from Eastern Europe, and struggles speaking the English language and has issues, but she speaks in perfect grammar all of the goddamn time. Like, it's just super odd because I live among people who are actually in Eastern Europe, so I know how they really talk when they have issues. I teach these people, right? So, like, immediately sticks out like a sore thumb. Uh, Oh, you recently watched Blade for the first? I'm curious if it aged well. It may have not aged well, so I didn't want to like just force it on people. Like, my opinion that hey, it's great, because maybe these things maybe don't age as well as I think. But I mean, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Javi. You watched Thunderbolts and it was mediocre. I'm curious to see how they did the Century, because I always kind of liked the Century. The snippets that I would get from him when from just being interested in Marvel independently, and the dude acting as Century, I've only seen the clips, so I don't know if they show how he originates or how he lives with being the Century. Because from what I know of the Century, like because he's essentially Superman, but like he's always psychologically struggling with it, so he works as like at a hot dog cart, or like some complete job where he can just like be a complete nobody in society, because he doesn't want to be the Century, he doesn't want to be that powerful. And he's like always kind of unsure of himself and psychologically unstable, but not like in a dominant way, but more like a submissive way. He's always kind of like self-guessing himself. He because he doesn't want it, until something happens and he has to, turn gangster on somebody. And in the movie, the act that was the first time when I seen the actor portray a character, I was like, that is exactly how I imagined him to be. They actually got that right. Um, I was impressed by the guy playing him. I think from the snippets I seen, I think he did an excellent job. I have no complaints over him. But I am playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and let me tell you what, that game is incredible. I love it. I love it because it is a fun game, and the conversations I was telling my wife, because she likes the movies. I said, look, that game is better than the movies, with the arguments they have and the constant. Because I told her, like, because I don't like Zoe Saldana. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like Zoe Saldana. I can pretty much deal with everybody else. But I just don't like Zoe Saldana, and the reason why is gonna be some racial shit. But I said Zoe Saldana is one of them Priya Chopra's, the girl who dated the Jonas brother, that Indian girl. There is a certain brown person that is disgusting to, like, who is disgusting to other brown people, right? And I was telling my wife, like, but I think you got to be brown to know it. Right? Like, these types of women, especially women, men usually have a better balance with these, but the women are awful. Zoe Saldana is in the same boat with that Priya Chopra or whatever that vision. Look, once she figures out that she can be attractive to white men, then she'll just throw away everything else. But then like Halle Berry, but once the white men kind of dog her out, then she's back on BET saying, "I love my people. I'll do anything for my people." But as soon as she gets on with the white men, she don't know her people no more. They gone. she, if you sitting over there, she gonna look over here. She just forget you. Like, and it, she and okay, when I first seen it in her was when she did that movie. She did that where she tried to play a ballerina. It was one where she was like a Spanish spider or some shit like that. I can't remember what the name of it was, and it wasn't good. She did it was that typical female lead in a James Bondish kind of role. Like women just don't do these roles well on average. I would say higher than average. But she was trying to do a movie playing. I think was it Nina Simone, and her comment was like, "I have to represent my people as somebody as a strong black woman," and she's not black. She's not black. Like, where did you get that from? Like, it's just like I'll turn it on. I'll turn on be a Negra when it works out, but if it ain't working out, I'm not Negra anymore. I'm just a kind of I'm just a woman. Gosh. And she'll turn that whole thing on. Gosh, are you serious right now? She'll do all that. But when them whites kick her out, then I got to look good for my people, and she'll put on a whole no, that's what it was. She put on a prosthetic nose. She put that black woman prosthetic nose. Let me Google this shit. She put a prosthetic black woman nose on. Let me see. Was it Nina? I think it was she played Nina Simone. And this shit was just awful. Like, this was terrible. Oh, she apologized for it. Yeah, she should have, because it was terrible. And like she put that black woman nose on. I told my wife that, like, I told her, yeah, she like they be doing that shit for you, talking to her because she's white. They do that shit for you because they think you like it. She apologized. I didn't know she just did that like 5 years ago. She apologized for it because that's when I knew I didn't like her. When I heard that, when I was, because I guess she had, at the time she had did a movie where she was like some kind of like she was some kind of atomic blonde, one of them um female assassin movies or something. It was some. Let me look. It was some shit like Colombiana. That's what it was. Yeah, this movie. She was one of them and it wasn't good. It was another one of those movies where a woman who's like 120 pounds grabs a full grown ass bodybuilder dude by his wrist and just twists it, and the guy just like plays along like he's hurt, like, oh my god, he's like overacting to make it look real, and it doesn't. It looks terrible. Like, and on top of that, like her body weight, it wouldn't even be into it with speed. It's just like she just go. Ugh. And this big grown man with his wrists bigger than her fucking head just pretends like he was like, oh gosh darn it, you got me again. And it just looks awful. Like, it just looks terrible. Like, just stop it. Just don't. The only movie that did it well, in my opinion, was Atomic Blonde, and I still love that movie. But that's the only movie that did it reasonably to like reasonably to very well was Atomic Blonde, and I would still recommend Atomic Blonde to anyone. Charlize Theron, to this point, is the only woman in my book that was completely convincing in that that when she plays that role. I forget the name of her now. I forget her name in that movie, but she's the only woman that I've ever seen who had me fully convinced that she would go out there and change her own tire and then turn around and be a runaway model. That's the only woman I've ever seen who could convincingly pull both of those off 100%. The girl in Guardians of the Galaxy, she was all right. The one that played the blue girl, she was very close, but not quite there. Charlize Theron's the only one. No, okay, well, the supermodel role. But the only other woman that I've ever seen that was convincing to be like rough was Lena Headey in Dread. Lena, I think that's how you spell her name. Her. I'm fully convinced that her role in Dread was like, I believe this bitch. She might bite somebody's dick off. Like I could see her do some shit like that for real. You know what I mean? Like she would do. I wouldn't put it past her. If she fucked around and got serious, I'd be like, hold on, don't mess with that. Or if you do, you better have a plan. She was the only one. Well, her and Charlize Theron are the only ones who can pull like both of these kind of roles off. She still looks like a little rough there, but it's like she looks also, a little pretty too and that kind of thing. But most women just don't do good jobs, in my opinion, with these. I think it had a lot to do with Nina Simone family speaking out against it. That's why she apologized. Okay. AD, they're the same types of act certain way around them, didn't feel entitled to us black men giving them support, love, or whatever. It's like another version of, hey, big, yeah. You watch Captain, oh, yeah, God, Captain Marvel was awful. It's terrible. I had high hopes for it when it got announced, but it wasn't good. So let's start this video. Older women have more trauma. Word up.
You could be broken. She could have been broken. Like I said, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about just a 37-year-old.
Why would a 37-year-old be broken?
Been through so many heartbreaks. The guys that have done it wrong.
The internet is weaponizing age, and it's weaponizing singleness. And it's making women that are older feel like, Paul Pierce says, we're cooked. It kind of sounds like a 27-year-old is better.
Oh, yeah.
Because what I'm hearing, and y'all tell me if I'm crazy, more older women come with baggage. They come with more trauma. Yes, they might have more stability, but that's not really something that men are seeking. And it sounds like younger women are more naive, which means they're probably more fun, which means they probably aren't so set inside of who they are, and they have more time to give you children.
All good points.
Right. So why would you choose me? Let's take it out of general and make it into you and I, a 37-year-old over a 25-year-old.
I don't know, man. Y'all got me feeling like Kevin Samuel or something, be reincarnated.
Okay, here. I'm going to elaborate real fast on my situation. If me and my spouse were to completely break up, because I've told her this. I said, look, I told her, I see why men just cut women, 40-year-old women, they just never want to date 40-year-old women. I told her this. We've had this conversation. Because like she was saying, older women, because they develop this baggage, they gain weight, or they're carrying around some other problems that have nothing to do with you, and now you're being involved in it. Like all these additional problems in there, but then they're still expecting the man to come be a man and work her through it. All this, and it's none of the man's burden from the start. It was, it had nothing to do with the man. I completely see, and I've told her this. She knows. I see why more time, it's just not worth it trying to even work with a 40-year-old and up woman, or over 35. It's not even worth it. Generally speaking, because all that time and trouble as a man you're going to put into that while you're still trying to you're figuring out yourself and your path in life, that is just not worth it for a man. And looking back now, if me and my spouse were to break up, I'll tell you exactly the demographic that I would go after. Okay. The exact demographics, there's only two. One would be a woman, like for example, the woman who I'm teaching now, the director. It would have to be a woman who like went out and really did something with her life. Okay, I would never date any of these middle class women because I generally don't get along well with middle class, because middle class has this, and I hate to use this word, but this toxic mentality amongst each other. They're all chasing to look a little bit better than the other one. They're all worried. Like it's just high school all over again, right? They're stuck. It's high school as the rest of their adult life. They're stuck in that middle zone. I'm fairly certain that unless there's an anomaly situation, that I would never date any regular working class woman. She's got to have a specialization. Okay. Um, like I said, there may be an anomaly here or there where a girl's cute or she's just like super cool or something. But what I would never date another woman who did not specialize in something. That's one, right? And I would say up to about 30. That 30, if it's an anomaly, 35, right? That's one. The other batch, which I'm now, when I go to my personal classes, I'm around younger girls, right? And these younger girls are, we talked actually this past week, we were walking and talking about it. They're in a legitimate university program. These girls are 20. Now, I want to make this very clear that in general, being a 40-year-old man dating just a regular ass 20-year-old girl usually is not you're going to have a lot of issues with that. Just a regular 20-year-old. Now, I would definitely try with a 20-year-old girl like these 20-year-old girls that I know. These young girls are just impressive. They're going to universities for these degrees take 8 years to get. Okay, these are legit professional specialization degree, and they know that that's just what they're doing. And here's the thing: when you because here's the main thing that I'm sure these women will talk about it in this video. When let's say like me, I'm 40. When I get with a 20-year-old, the first thing that people say is, well, what can you talk about with a 20-year-old girl? She's too young. Okay, for the general population, that's true. But when you get with these legitimately educated girls who come from educated families and talk to them, oh, you don't have a problem talking about anything. She can keep talking. When we walk down the street, okay, any of these, you can close your eyes and pick a girl, and you're not going to be mad with whichever one you get. Okay, any of these girls can be on the front line of porn on a porn shoot right now. They look that good, right? Because they're Czech. Most Czech girls, especially when they're younger, most of them look like that. But it's not just about the look. It's so not just about the youth and the beauty. It's they can talk. But again, don't go to these little shopping malls finding little 20-year-old girls. Go find these 20-year-old girls at universities. Those are the ones. See, when we walk down the street and talk, we are having deep, intricate conversations and comparing conversations that we had 2 weeks ago and talking about the future and talking about qualifications in life. And there is never a shortage of conversation. There is not one time I spoke to those young girls and ever felt like I had to pull out conversation. Now, when I'm with 35 and 40-year-old women, oh, I have to pull out conversation. But them younger girls who have a life, now she'll call it naivety. Now, again, now with this, let's go back to this girl. Now, I highly doubt that this woman is hanging out with scholars. Okay, she's probably hanging out in the crowd of the average who are trying to pretend that they're not. Okay, I'm hanging out with actual well-educated and developed groups. So I'm speaking about a different population. I'm fairly certain just by the fact that she put on makeup like that and sat in front of a camera. That pretty much says most of it right there, that she's not hanging around higher educated people. But I could be wrong. She could be a case, but my immediate assumption is I can pretty much categorize her in that boat. Now, if I were to go out on a date with her, I guarantee you it would either be filled with awkward silence or her trying to just crack a joke on somebody. Like the sister girl. Right? I would guarantee you that's how it goes. Now, when I go meet these young girls at this class I'm going to personally, never, not once have I ever felt like anything would even go in that direction. So again, looking back at my life and the situations that I lived through, I would say just go get a woman who either has a specialization or is genuinely seriously working on a specialization. Okay, not just some dingbat. Remember that one dingbat bitch with the what was that? The Aldo bag. It's something. I'm. What she say? I'm foretold to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25. See, them bitches are fucking trash. Okay, she's garbage. That young woman was a mere dreamer at that. She's living in an illusion in her head. She was projected to be a millionaire. That's what it was. She said, "I'm projected to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25," or some goofy shit like that. Okay, with the girls now looking back after teaching and going to school myself and being out in the world and being in different countries and learning these women, okay, like I said, and I'm gonna start this video in a minute. One, I would stay away from middle class women. This is where I'm coming from. I'm not saying everybody has to do this, but this is my opinion. Stay away from any middle class woman because again, that middle class just brings depression, it brings delusions, it brings social pressure. It brings all this stuff into your life that you will be much better off without. Okay, let's take her. Let's say she's a middle class woman, right? See, that middle class woman now. See, okay, let me go back. I'm gonna tell us. Let me write this down so I don't lose my train of thought because I always lose my train of thought. Okay, so I just wrote it down so I'm not gonna lose my train of thought. So I'm gonna tell a story that from high school. When I was in high school, I'm gonna say people's names too. There was this dude named Quincy. His name was Quincy Crump. I was never really friends with Quincy Crump. I always knew who he was, but I never had a conversation with him. Quincy Crump he was probably a good 6 foot tall. He was always in athletic shape, but he was corny, right? You can tell he was like he was a black dude, but you can tell that he grew up like he was corny even in the white community. He had this weird shaped mouth, and he was always, he was like a happy-go-lucky dude, and he had this weird voice, but he was a black dude, so he was just really awkward in Ohio, right? He was just really awkward. Like I was a corny suburb kid, but he was cornier than me. But he was bigger than me, so like that kind of gave him more, I guess, a better sense of respect in high school. These kind of things. He wasn't fat, but he was like an athlete, right? So Quincy was a black dude that definitely he did not hang out with black people in any sense. At least he didn't look like you would never think about looking at it. He was very corny. Was awkward for those of you not American. I don't know if corny is used internationally or not, but so what Quincy did was I remember randomly Quincy just disappeared for like 2 or 3 years from my school, from middle school to high school. Right? You just didn't see him anymore. Quincy was just gone. Well, Quincy came back with braids, dressing like a thug back in those years, and he's walking around saying the N word, right? I don't even say the N word because I don't feel like the N word belongs to me, like in that cool context, right? Like I'm cool with somebody. I don't even say this word because I don't belong with that. I'm not part of that. I didn't live in that culture like that, so I don't even say it. He was walking around saying the N word, wearing with braids now, just looking like pretty much like the dude Clips from Clips, the rap group that made Grindin', looking like them dudes, right? And now Quincy's a thug, right? And I remember he was playing basketball and showing off playing basketball, trying to be slick and cool and all this. Well, in the meantime, I had started playing football. and there was this guy who was from the hood. His name was Darius. I can never remember Darius's last name. But Darius is one of those guys. He looked like he was 30 when he was fucking like 16. He looked 30. Okay. And I wasn't like scared of him, but I was off put by him because he was this big dude. You can tell, because I was always going in and out the hood every year because I would go to summer camp down there. My dad was from the hood, so I would go to summer camp in the hood and come back to the suburbs to go to school. So I knew how they would walk, who was the real thug and who was the one just pretending to be a thug, right? Darius, I knew Darius was no bullshit. Like it was just how he walked, everything. He was comfortable in himself. He wasn't trying to show off. It was him. Well, Darius played football. When I did, we were on this. We were on the same team. We would travel and play football. And you know what? Me and Darius became cool. Right? He was just cool. I mean, because I remember one time I had tackled the quarterback, tried to scramble, and I tackled him. He was big. Everybody's bigger than me. He was bigger than me, and he hit me hard, but I did get him down, right? And I remember I came back to the huddle, and Darius said, "Wendell, are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? What's up? What's the play?" He was worried about me, right? But Darius was cool. So I remember one time we was sitting down at lunch. And I'm sitting next to Darius. I think I told this story a long time ago, but I never said his name. I'm sitting next to him. We all just sitting there eating, laughing and shit. We laughing, right? Quincy comes in the cafeteria. Remember, he's essentially a black wigger, right? He comes in the cafeteria. And he's like slamming, he was carrying books. He like slammed them on the table going like, "Hoe ass N-words get knocked out. Punk pussy ass bitches get," and he's like throwing shit and he's hitting shit, but he's hitting it like, he's hitting it like he's a fucking, like, he's not tough, right? And I remember Darius, he kind of looked up and then like came back to the conversation. And then, because I was sitting next to him, and then Darius, when he finally went, and then Darius shut up, right? And Darius was so big, like he created a vacuum where I like got sucked up in him while he was getting up, right? They just like sucked me up with it, and he just shut up. And Darius went over to Quincy and just squared up, like, you know what I mean, like one of us got to go. And I remember looking at Quincy's eyes, right? Because Quincy was trying to play the tough guy role. And I think Quincy, in his own delusion, he thought that if he would just get loud, Darius would just kind of get scared and walk away. Well, Darius was a real N-word, right? He was a real dude, and he wasn't running away. And Darius, I still remember because he had a real specific stance and everything, and he was just like this, like he was shaking his hands. And I remember Quincy tried to like square up. Even the way Quincy squared up, like you can say he just didn't know how to fight, but he was trying to imitate this role he had seen from like Boys in the Hood, or some movies shit that he's seen, right? And Quincy just like squared up with him, and I remember he hit him with like a straight right. and when he hit, when you just happen to hone in on something when you didn't even mean to do it. I remember I just honed in on Quincy's eyes, and when he hit him right on his chin, right? And I remember seeing, because what Quincy had tried to back up, but he didn't make it, and he got hit. And I was looking at his eyes, and I could see like how, like in the cartoons where like a motherfucker would get hit and their eyes just like switch. Well, he got hit, and the fake thug said, "See ya." And Wigger and corny white Quincy came back. He was like, "Oh." and honestly, I don't remember. Because Darius was a good dude. Darius wasn't the kind of dude to just like completely beat somebody when they was down. So I'm sure, but I don't remember exactly what happened after that. But Quincy didn't win. But it was one of them. But the moral of the story is this. generally the louder, dangerous ones are usually the ones who are trying to imitate something in life. The ones who are going to be like in everyday life, the ones who are walking around loud and trying to be seen and noticed, those are the ones trying to imitate something because they don't know what they actually are, right? Now, the reason why I told that story is because most middle class women will be Quincy's. They're gonna walk around because they have this image of what they see, like women like this. They've seen what they've seen on Instagram, and now now they're just gonna try to imitate and pretend to be whatever they think that image is that they've seen in social media, and they're so far away from the truth. It's not even laughable. Um, like you usually the worst thugs, the worst ghetto dudes and thugs are the ones are the ones who are not ghetto. Like for example, in my high school, my high school is in the suburbs, but there was like most of black people were like those were the dangerous ones because they weren't hood, but they would do anything to try to convince you that they were hood. And those are the ones who will go out and do something extremely stupid. Those are the ones you need to shoot and kill. Those black dudes in the suburbs who are trying to be thugs. Those are the ones who will go out there and try to do one better than the guys who are really actually struggling because they're trying to because in their mind they think they're living up to that image in their head, and those are the ones you need to be afraid of for real because those are the ones who will do something extremely stupid. We need a screenplay about this hood. Oh yeah, it was at Emmanuel Center. They've gentrified the area because I went down there with a friend of mine and they've completely rebuilt all of it. But it was hood shit when I was going. It was complete hood when I was down there, downtown Cincinnati. It was over the Rhine. You can Google what over the Rhine used to be. There's a guy walking down over the Rhine on YouTube. You could probably look it up on you could look him up on YouTube. They've gentrified a lot of that area. It's called Over the Rhine in Cincinnati, and that's where I used to go to summer camp every summer. See and hear some everything. But yeah, so let's start this video. But yeah, no, these women are the types of women. Like I would never say date. Personally, I wouldn't touch any middle class working woman because they're all gonna end up living in some illusion or delusion in their mind because their life is over, and they're gonna take it out on you because their life's over, and they don't know how to fix their own life because they're stuck. The only women the only women I would consider seriously would be women who would be a woman who is either practicing in a profession or she's she's legitimately in a dedicated because there's a lot of hookers now saying they're in school to do something. No, they're not. Okay, they're lying. But it's up to you to figure that out. Let's start this again.
And make it into you and I.
It was something,
Intentional dating, 3 years is too long. Get somebody else to do it. Get a 25-year-old, get a 27-year-old, get a 23-year-old. They got that time to waste and to have fun and just see how it's gonna go. But if you're an older adult, be intentional or don't. Which brings me to a question for you. I have two questions. Remind me about the thing I just already forgot that I asked you to remind me about. But my second question is,
I forgot the question already.
both of us, we just tore up. But this is what I will say, because technically, according to the internet, I'm cooked. I'm above 35.
Why are you asking your man?
I've never been married.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have children, which says I'm a red flag. Why
Wait,
would you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm cooked. I'm above 35.
Why are you asking your man?
I've never been married.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have children, which says I'm a red flag.
Yeah, completely.
Why would you, a man that has all of these options, a lot of the options, also indulged in some options, why would you choose a woman that is 37 instead of a woman that is 27? Is that a good question?
Yeah.
Okay, the reason why a man would, okay, I'm gonna be very clear, very loud and very clear. One, the only reason why a man would pick you is because he's just low on options. He may need a green card. Um, um, he may just be lone. Well, okay, that goes back to just loan options. He may just be lonely. Uh, but there's no future with a woman. Like a woman in her position is past her future. Very simple.
That's an amazing question.
That is a good question.
Oh, snap.
Good one. Whoever wrote that one.
He like, why did I do this?
Why would I?
Mm-hmm.
You got, well, just saying an age is one thing. It's who's the age attached to. You know, this age that we talking about, 37, is attached to Sarah. Like, it ain't too many of you at any age. So, wherever you can get her at, you better take her. You know? I just so happy to get you at 37. You know, I would have took you at 27. I would have took you at, you know, whenever I can get you.
I think this is the guy that really likes the female. You feel me? Like I said, it's going to be a mating strategy on both sides. I think Miss Sarah has basically won when it comes down to.
Okay, here, and let me also throw in, because I don't know who this woman is. Maybe she's famous. I don't know. But I'm only speaking all. Okay, when you live literally in a city where every third woman walking down the street can be a beauty model, see, I have a different. Okay, and I have a different perspective on life. Most average men in most places, especially in North America, you're not coming across women who look like multiples of women that genuinely care about their physical appearance and hygiene, right? Especially if I had to guess, this is North America. And okay, and on top of that, if you are you immediately know there's going to have to be a lot of money be spent. These men are not in countries like Prague, Czech Republic, like in Prague, where the money still hasn't quite taken over just genuine character and personality, like a place like this. You see, so like, okay, I'm gonna be completely real, and I know I'm probably gonna hear something about this later from my spouse, right? So I'm living in Prague, where most women you're gonna see walking in the center and all that stuff like that, all of them are gonna be physically healthy, in shape, hair looking good, makeup looking good. You're gonna see every time you walk outside down the street somewhere in Prague, you will see a different woman that looks like that is completely model material. You can Google it, whatever you want. I don't know. Come here and visit me sometimes. And we'll see them walking down the street. It's every day, right? So with that being said, my standards for what I'm going to put up with are probably going to be much higher than most American men. And I'm not saying my wife is not a 10. In fact, she's gone down, and we having problems now because of it. Because look, we walking around Prague okay, in America, my spouse she's getting low now, and we falling out a lot because of it, right? And I know I'm going to hear something about this later, but oh well. My spouse, like walking down the street with women looking like this, like what I'm willing to put up with is a lot lower, because I can if I can just go to a brothel and get a woman that looks better than this woman for $50. You see, so my I don't have that same sense of patience to deal. I'm not that eager to talk to a woman. I've lost all of these traits.
Getting the guy that likes her more than she possibly might like him. Like, I don't know all the details, but that's what it sounds like from his perspective of wanting her at all ages, not wanting to lose her. You know, he just wanted her.
You know, but at the same time, now that I have you at 37, the benefits of that, you know, I would say you are wise.
Thank you.
You are, like, we talk about a lot of stuff, you know, not just business wise, just, you know, different experiences that you've had that maybe I haven't had, and you can tell me about. You know, or you really know yourself now. Like, you know, I would never go for this, or I've already tried this before, and I know I would never do that. So you know yourself so well, and the experiences that you're coming with are like super valuable. You know.
But why wouldn't you want a young woman who is malleable, like who you can form into whatever it is that you want? Why would you want a woman that's technically cooked?
Okay, and see, here's the thing. Like, and see, this now, okay, maybe it's just me because maybe it's my class of people that I'm hanging around. But this whole concept that men want to mold a woman, okay, when I was going on about the younger women that I'm going to study with, right? This is not about, like, there is nothing in me that is trying to mold these 20-year-old girls. These girls they are already fitting the mold. I'm not molding them. See, women try to mold men, but men isn't. Once you grow up and become an adult, it's not about trying to mold somebody. It's about finding figure out what you're looking for, what you're hunting, and to figure out what's already fitting that mold. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I said, for example, with the 20-year-old girls that I'm studying with, that I go to study with, right? Like, I'm not molding any conversations. I'm not trying to infer anything. None of that. Because I'm hanging out with legitimately well-educated women. Not these little hussies hopping around at bars going, girl, I want a new bag. I'm not hanging around that trash. This is trash. Okay. It's not about to be fair, maybe they had a talk and that's what he is going after. I don't know.
Is there value in a woman that's
But okay, if that man could meet if that man would meet a 25-year-old girl who was pretty, who cared about her hygiene and her physical appearance, and she was physically healthy, she wasn't overweight or obese, and she was in med school, or she was in any school where she had to require a specialization to get, and she was focused and she had her act together. Yeah, of course he's gonna want her over a 37-year-old woman who's done. Period. But again, see, most guys usually don't either know how to get around these women, or they just don't know where these women really are. So they're stuck with women like this.
cooked?
Yeah, the value in your experience, you know, the value in your connections, you know.
This nigga said connections. Bruh, I'm gonna just let it play out, y'all, but that just made me chuckle.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in you.
No.
Okay. Well, why not someone that's 27?
Well,
Don't they have value? Can't they have the same
He's scared to
connections?
lose. He's scared to lose. This sound okay. I don't know him, but it sounds like he's scared to lose. He's scared to lose a woman who just simply isn't fat, can look like she can figure out how to combine soap and water and apply a little bit too much makeup. That's about the, that's what it sounded like to me so far.
No.
I mean, connections take time, so I mean, and it's pros and cons with both, to be honest. You know,
Tell me the cons.
the
for
cons
us.
with a 27-year-old.
For both.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I know body language really well, and I could just see, like I said, I just understand body language. I can tell she didn't like his response with the connection thing. You can see it on her face right now. Wasn't a good answer. That's why it's probably not best to bring especially a woman podcast interviewing her fiance, probably not the best thing to do. Now, a guy podcast interviewing his woman, still probably not the best thing to do, but it just changes the dynamic and the energy. Let's continue.
Let's do 37.
Okay.
The cons in a 37-year-old.
She ain't like that.
Not necessarily you, but just a 37-year-old. You could be broken. Like I said, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about just a 37-year-old.
Why would a 37-year-old be broken?
She could have been broken. She's been through so many heartbreaks. You know, the guys that have done her wrong, she could be
Possibly.
broken.
Sure.
Touche. Okay, do the
You know?
healing. What if she's not broken? I don't know.
Well, if she's not broken,
I feel like a 27-year-old is more likely to be broken than a 37-year-old.
So
Because a 27-year-old is still
Oof,
figuring themselves
4:30
out. A
a.m.
37-year-old, we know who we are. We're not getting broken anymore.
I would think Miss Fontenot definitely understands the fact that if you 37 years old, you've had way more experience than a 27-year-old woman. I would think that you are going to have a little bit more trauma, a little bit more contention, or a little jaded compared, to a 27-year-old when it comes to relationships. Especially if you've been in more situations. Like if we go off naturally, you probably should have been in more situations than a 27-year-old. I will hope so. So if that's the case, you're going to be a little bit more jaded. It might be a little more difficult for you to trust. Your pair bonding has probably went out the window. So I don't understand why Sarah would even ask that question.
I think,
I
as a
think
woman.
I think a 27-year-old or 25-year-old, like, they haven't seen everything yet. They haven't experienced everything yet. So they don't think the world is, so dark. Because they haven't had their heart broken as many times, whatever the case is. And, they probably have a easier outlook on what a man would do for them, or what a man, does he really love me? I think when you're older, sometimes you bring a lot of baggage.
Cuz talking against what he got at home. Let's continue.
Like what, kids?
I mean, kids is big, or just baggage as in just past traumas.
You don't feel like young women have past traumas?
They just don't have as many because they hadn't lived as long.
Well, okay, they don't. Okay, yeah, young women. Okay, generally speaking, there's always going to be some fucked up 20-year-old girl, but generally speaking, the older women have all that baggage on top of the baggage of them. Okay, every woman after 30 will have the additional baggage of being mad that she's 30 years old and higher. So that is an entirely additional set of baggage that no 20-year-old has. Okay, because they're 20. But the 40-year-old is mad because they're 40. And then it's just all these extra complications. It's all these extra, like, there's so many complications to this, man. When they start to age, like I told my wife, I said, like, I completely get why guys, they just, all the work that a guy will have to put into a woman to get her, anywhere decent is it's not worth it. It's like putting $50,000 into a 1995 Honda Civic. It's just not. It's not worth the effort to maintain it. Just throw the car out and just go buy another one. Okay, because once she hits 40, now she's mad because she's 40. You get to looking at her, now her skin's starting to sag. You see her weight's like, her face looks like somebody's been punching it because she looks just fucked up, right? And now she's mad because she knows, but you can't say nothing about it because that's going to be mean. Now, I'm the type of person I will say something. And so now I'm going to get it because I'm going to call her out on it. But there's just nothing you can do. And meanwhile, she's still just spiraling down and down, worse and worse and worse and worse. So there's nothing you can do. This woman right here is on her last second breath in life. It's only going to go downhill from here. It doesn't. Trust me. These things with women, they never get better. It only gets worse. Now he can go out and go get something younger. Something, well, not even, it doesn't have to be younger, but in a woman's case, yeah. He can always go out and just travel, and anything he does will add to his resume. Whereas anything she does is going to make her resume look worse.
So what's their cons for young women?
A younger woman, just being naive, being
It ain't too many.
not as stable in life.
Money?
It kind of sounds like a 27-year-old is better.
Yeah.
Because what I'm hearing, and y'all tell me if I'm crazy. I mean, I know you're not talking about me in particular,
No, he
but it
is.
sounds like more older women come with baggage. They come with more trauma. Yes, they might have more stability, but that's not really something that men are seeking. And it sounds like younger
No,
women.
not even. I would even say not even more stability. To be honest, to be 100%. See, these things like stability. See, here the sad part about women is this too. Is see, I think that stability escape route is exactly that because it's bullshit, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why. When a women usually only have one path in life. If she's the type to prostitute, then she's going to prostitute. If she doesn't prostitute, there's a low chance she's going to actually do it, right? If a woman is a basketball player, she's going to play basketball. If she doesn't like basketball, she's never going to touch basketball. Women very rarely build up and fix things and get better. If they do, it takes 20 years to do it. Okay, it doesn't. Women usually don't fix anything in 6 months. They're fucked up for a score for 20 years or more. You see what I'm saying? So this whole older women bring more stability. No, that's not true at all. Well, okay, probably in her world, she probably got more from her perspective, from that individual woman, she may have become more stable. But in a general world view situation, no, no, not at all, not at all, not at all, not at all. Mm-mm. If the woman does get better, it takes 10 or 20 years for her to get off her ego and all that shit to actually, better herself. Men can fix it in 6 months. Men can fix it in 2 months. Women, it takes years, if they ever do. That stability. There's girls who will go out there and hold their own from the age of 20. And of course, there'll be hiccups along the way, but generally hold their own by the age, and they were always going to be on that. And in other women, they're always looking for a man to take care of them. This whole thing that older women just automatically grow up and develop senses of responsibility is complete bullshit. 100% complete bull that men just kind of keep letting slide. Okay, every man in here, at least directly or indirectly, knows women like that. Who was the guy I was talking to on the phone probably about a month ago? He was saying how his mama they were evicted 4 times. I think he said 4 times, if I'm not mistaken, 4 times. And I guarantee his mama was always like that. Oh, nothing ever changed, except for his dad probably just wasn't there to clean up her mess when she would fuck up when he was with her. But women, this whole concept that older women bring more stability is complete nonsense. What's up, PTR?
Men are more naive, which means they're probably more fun, which means they probably aren't so set inside of who they are, and they have more time to give you children.
All good points.
Right. So why would you choose me? Let's take it out of general and make it into you and I, a 37-year-old over a 25-year-old.
Because it's you.
Because he has low opt. Because he had a low range. He was down on his luck. That's exactly why. Okay, but let's be 100% clear. She knows exactly why. When these bartering, now she'll spout bullshit just to save her self-esteem, but I'll tell you exactly what. Okay. Earlier today, I was talking with my aunt back in Ohio. See, this is why, like, for any man out there, go find an older woman you can talk to, because the younger women are still trying to like keep up that facade that they can be the all you can be woman. But go make friends with like your grandmas and shit. Go talk to them about these things. Ask your I asked my aunt. My aunt is like 75, I think. And I took because she's mad right now, and I hate to put the family business on the street, but I'm doing this to teach other men. I'm going to potentially sacrifice, trustability or whatever within me to help. Was this 37 men right now out there in the world? Women know these bargaining and bartering. This woman knows exactly the answer to this question. She's testing to see if he'll have the balls and courage to actually say it out loud. These are the games that women play. She already knows the answer to this. She's just testing to see if he has the courage to call her out on it. And if he doesn't, well, she's got a fool she can still manipulate longer. If he does, he might leave, kind of thing, right? Now, back to my aunt. I was talking to my aunt because her grandson, which is my cousin, he's just in love with this girl who's a single mother, and she called her like a tramp and a hussy and calling her all the names in the book, right? Like, because she's abusing him all kind of ways because she's a little cute and she's giving him pussy, and he's, just, my little cousin is going crazy over this girl, right? And so I asked her this question. I said, okay, I want to ask you a question just as a woman, not you and him or anybody else in our family, but I want to ask you this as a woman. Would you rather your son date a single mother or a single mother or a woman who didn't have any kids? Which one would you prefer your son to date? And she said, well, if I had to choose only on that, the woman who had no kids. Like, women, they already know. And guess what? My aunt was a single mother. We were talking about her divorce when she had 2 kids. My aunt was a single mother. She knows. Okay. She knows. Like, women, they know the answer to this. She knows the answer to this. This woman right here knows the answer to this question. Again, the reason why she's asking it is because she's testing to see if he'll actually say it, if he'll tell her the truth with confidence. She knows the answer to this.
You choose me. Let's take it
Because he must have not had many options. That's why.
out of general and make it into you and I, a 37-year-old over a 25-year-old.
Because it's you.
Yo, she heated. Even the host gotta say because Sarah getting heated right now. You see how she keeps bringing it very personal. Like, I need to know why it's me.
Sarah?
No, I want to know.
Now she knows. Dude, look, and I'm gonna keep just to constantly remind you, to divert you from her bullshit. She knows the answer. Okay, she knows. He needed something. It wasn't for her personally. It was some deficiency on his end that he needed her help with. Okay. See, because she would know why he would go to a used car lot instead of a new car lot. Right? Any woman could do that logic real fast. Oh, well, he must not be able to afford the new cars. Well, also he had to go to JD Byrider or some shit like that, right? Like he had to go to some used car lot. Like, she knows. This woman knows. See, a big portion, I would say majority of men get stuck in assuming that just because they know the real answer and they're scared to say it means that the woman doesn't know the real answer. She knows. She knows. Whatever issue you got going on with your spouse or anything like that, she already knows. Okay, but chances are she knew it before you did, if it's about her. She seen it coming or she knew it. She's just hoping that you don't have the courage to actually say it out loud. Because here's the thing. Because a woman in a dating game is literally survival. Okay. Because from the woman's perspective, if she feels like she can get away with something and you don't call her out on it, then that means that you must be, for whatever reason, you're okay with letting it slide. And if you let it slide, the longer you let something slide, the lesser the chance of you actually getting the courage to get up and call her out on it. Period. That's all it is. It's not that complicated. If you allow her to do something, she's going to keep doing it. If you allow her in your life, she's going to whatever. She because from a woman seeks stability for survival. Men seek companionship. That's the exchange. Okay, I'll go one deeper. I kicked my spouse, she's kicked out. You wanna know what? Here's her keys right here. I told her to leave and leave the keys here. Yesterday. And she's tripping. I won't go to the inner details on it, but she started tripping. So I told her leave within the hour and leave the keys here. And these are her keys, literally right here. My keys are in the door. You got to. Because if I didn't, she'll just keep doing what she's doing, and I'm gonna sit around going crazy and going mad. The next thing you know, I'm drinking myself at a bar to hide from it. I'm drinking now. I'm smoke like another friend of mine. This dude drinks so much beer, it's unbelievable, man. He's probably skinnier than I am, and when you go to his flat, he has beer and just stacked up. Because he's just hiding his issues from women in his life, and he's hiding from himself. He's just hiding everything because he's too afraid to do something. And he's drinking himself to death. That's how you got these bars filled with men with beer belly guts hanging down to the floor. Because they hide because they're betraying themselves. Because they're desperate. Can't do that, man. And see, and this woman, she's doing the same thing to him. She's testing the water with him to see if she knows he's a. Let's go ahead and call a spade a spade. Okay, this is gonna hurt his feelings. She'll pretend like she's hurt, but she knows what I'm saying is true. She'll pretend like she's hurt to get him riled up so he'll be mad at me. This is the games that women play. Okay, she knows he's a chump. Let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is. She knows he is a capital CHUMP. Period. She knows it. That's why she's asking this question. That's why she had the courage to ask him this question in front of a camera and post it on YouTube. That's why. I bet Tina Turner wouldn't have asked Ike some shit like that. You see what I'm saying? They wouldn't be doing nothing like that. A woman who knows there's going to be some consequences after it wouldn't do no shit like that. Because she know, like, if he's the type to hit a woman, he going to beat her ass. Or if he's the type to do something else, he's going to do something else. She ain't going to do that. She know, like I hate to say it, but again, I'm sacrificing myself for the betterment of mankind. Okay. And when I say this, again, she'll pretend like she's offended to get him riled up, to get mad at me, to protect her ego. Okay, that's the chain of command. Okay. Or better yet, what would work out even easier is if he gets mad from societal pressure of protecting the woman. Oh, women love that part of the game because now they don't even have to pretend to get riled up. Other than, oh my gosh. Yeah, see, that's what they love. You see. But it is what he's a chump. And I don't mean to disrespect him personally because I don't know him personally. But she knows he's a chump. Period. With a capital P. And a period after the word period.
That's exactly what I'm saying. The age has nothing to do with it. I'm choosing Sarah. Like, I have to get you where I met you at.
Okay, so for a woman, okay, so give me qualities of a me for women to say, okay, this is what I get to work on, so that whether you're 27 or 37, a man like you that has a ton of options, and women literally do everything for you for nothing from you, which is crazy to me.
I dazed out for a minute because all I heard was coping and trying to make herself sound more, and all I heard was just coping. I had it. Okay, I was probably wrong, but when she started talking, all from how she's trying to like explain things is coping and trying to manipulate him into saying something positive about her existence.
what I get to
But let me actually listen to it this time.
work on, so that whether you're 27 or 37, a man like you that has a ton of options, and women literally do everything for you for nothing from you, which is crazy to me. How do they bag that man? Does that question make sense? Like, is that a useful question?
Can you reword it, maybe?
Like,
Everybody, like, calm down.
for
Sarah.
what? Because the internet is weaponizing age, and it's weaponizing singleness, and it's making women that are older feel like Paul Pierce says we're cooked, right? Once we hit 35, really 33, or really 30. Once we hit 30, we're cooked. Our eggs are dried up. We're no good. Nobody wants us anymore, right? So why have you now, a man that has options? You have money, you have a huge house, you have investments, you're handsome, you're 6'7¾". You got a lot of,
6'7"?
you surpassed the 4 6s, all of them. And there's way more than that, right? So why would you or someone like you that has options choose to lock in with someone that is older?
Because he doesn't have, because for whatever reason, he doesn't have the options. That's why. Period. She already knows this. That's why she keeps digging. For whatever, the reality of why she has to dig at this, because I don't know who either one of these people are. The reason why she now has to ask this is because she knows the real answer. Now she's interrogating this more deeper to try to figure out, okay, where are you really that low quality of a man where you had to deal with me? And she's second guessing her time with him now.
Why are you pressing him so hard? I don't like this anymore. It's like, ma'am, Miss Sarah, congratulations, but it almost sounds like you about to you self-sabotaging your own situation, because now you pressing. It's a little annoying at this point, I mean, the man gave his answers, but she just wants more.
So I'm just gonna reword it a little bit. I'm choosing to lock in with Sarah, right?
Okay.
And what do you do for me? What makes me choose you over anybody else?
Yes.
It's the way you make me feel, like when we together. Just how rare you are, even though the age.
Okay, and here, okay, and let's real quick, let's touch on the age. The age. The reason why the age right now isn't such a big problem is because she can still throw on 10 pounds of makeup and tape up her asshole to pucker up nice in a pair of jeans to where he can't really see the age yet. See, when she starts to look 40, see, that's when you're going to have a whole lot of problems. She's looking older now just with a bunch of makeup on, but it's going to get to a point where she can't even hide it. Let's take, for example, let's take Halle Berry, for example. See, like because Halle Berry, beautiful woman, but she got to a point where she just can't even see like this. See, like she just can't hide it anymore. It's just there. You see what I'm saying? See, like guys who was interested in Halle Berry, 10, 15 years ago, they not looking at her anymore. It's over. I think she's a beautiful woman. She was always the figurehead of beauty. I'm a fan of Halle Berry, but it's biology. I'm not saying this to be mean. See, this woman, the woman in this thing she can still toss on a bunch of makeup and mimic being 27, 28. See, it's the mimicking that's holding her over right now. But she knows the reality. And she knows she can't keep this up much longer.
Having no kids, the life lessons, that you've demonstrated to me just, in the time that we've been together. I just know that with us together, like how stronger I'm going to become because of you. Like
Connections?
the motivation, like the push I feel you so happy and jolly that, it just automatically like transitions to me. Like, so, you know, you know, you say it all the time, like I'm a grumpy, whatever. Like, you wake up and you like, hello, and all of this, and you know, and that automatically like transitions to me, and it makes me feel in a better place. Like, so,
And I'm okay now. I'm going to speak on this because now I have a kid. Me and my aunt, we were talking about me having a son, so now I can see the role of a parent. Like when he said, "You make me stronger." See, all of that is just like Netflix bullshit. That's Netflix nonsense, man. A real test is only when you have a child with her. Because see, up until now, she can still kind of play around and mimic and all this stuff and, you know, and pretend. But see, when you have a child together, that's going to bring out, see, all that mimicry and makeup doesn't work anymore. You see, when it's 3:30 and when it's 3:30 in the morning and the baby's up crying because he done had a nightmare. See, the baby don't care about your mansions or your 6-figure income. That baby cares about what? Parents, I mean, you don't even know how to care about anything. But what's the most important thing? You ain't getting ready to go do. If the baby's crying, what you gonna do? You pick the baby up and go take him to your Rolls Royce and be like, yeah, bro, look at this car at 3:30 in the morning. Like, no, it's foolish. But see, when you don't have children, you don't know how to think like that yet, or you think you know how to think like that, right? Like this whole thing, you make me stronger. That is a Hallmark card nonsense. You make me stronger. You ain't. How do you have to? You ain't know what strong is. What the fuck are you talking about? Wouldn't know strong if it slapped you in the goddamn face. Somebody trying to please this woman. She don't know. She don't know what strong is. You don't know what strong is. Until you have your child with your baby mama sitting there and the baby's crying and neither one of y'all know what to do with this motherfucker at 2 a.m. and he's just flipping out crying, vomiting every 10 minutes, whatever the fuck. See, that's when you figure out how strong you are. Before then, y'all ain't nothing but some high school sweethearts at 37 goddamn years old. Y'all, because you're children. Fuck you talking about you make me stronger. You just trying to feed her some bullshit to get out of there. Ain't nothing about that woman that makes you stronger. All right. Yo, what's up, Easy Beast? I haven't seen you in a while, man.
so
Hope you're doing all right.
it's a lot
Hope
of
the horse is doing all
you know,
right.
intangible things that I can't even just articulate like
Well,
that.
try for the women
I'm
at
trying.
home. Because they want to know, how do they get a man? How do they get a 7-figure earning, 6'7" tall, freaking?
Well, and see here, okay. And the other part, I forgot to touch on this, because see, this woman is Quincy Crump. This woman and all the women that she knows are Quincy Crumps. They're not real women in these positions, because if they were real women in these real positions in life, they would know exactly where these men are and how to find them and this and that. They don't know because they're not these women for real. Okay. Just because a man is 6 foot tall, has 6 figures, this and that, maybe the man doesn't like to talk a lot. Maybe he doesn't drink, so now he doesn't go to bars. You see, maybe he doesn't like loud music, so he doesn't go to clubs. Maybe he really likes to, play video games. Maybe he really likes to work on his car in his garage, so he doesn't go out. That's why these women won't find him. Maybe he just doesn't like talking to new people. You see? It's not, because see, in this delusional mind of these Quincy Crump type of women, right? I'm just giving the context for something that happened 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. But you get what I'm trying to say from the example I gave earlier. From these Quincy Crump type of women, like they're imitators at the core. So they don't even know what reality is. So in their mind, their reality is Instagram. So like, since she's all dressed up and dolled up, then there needs to be then that means the man automatically must know how to be charismatic and talk. Maybe he's not charismatic, so he doesn't go out because of that. Maybe he's just a relaxed dude who doesn't like to, talk to a lot of people. Or maybe he feels pressured by being in crowds, so he just talked himself out of going out 10 years ago. Right? See, it's all these reality factors that play into it. It's not that he's just going at the bar and club and it could be anything.
The spit. I ain't gonna talk about what's mine and all the other things. How do they? I'm not, because I don't want nobody gunning for my man. Thank you very much.
Miss Sarah, why it sound like you bragging at this point? Why it sound like you bragging? And stop giving all these women hope at home. Because all these women ain't gonna be able to get that. You feel me? We don't even know how you got that for sure. So we can't sit right here and put all these dreams and fallacies in these other women's heads thinking that they're supposed to acquire the same thing. It's not the case. The man first mentioned connections with you. So I don't know if it's about, it's definitely about more the business side of it too, aside of just being just a nice feminine woman. The man can, like you said, he can get whatever he wants. You got to be realistic. You need to know in the back of your mind on exactly what the intentions possibly could be, because he might not tell you.
Well, and even then, it's not really like and I think that's overused. Like, I think in general that a man can get whatever he wants is very overused. Or anybody can get whatever they want because they have a plane, or because they got a nice car and they get anybody they want. I think that's a very and I'm not trying to bash him for this, but I think just in general, and just how diluted the dating market has become since social media and online dating as a whole. You see, in real life, there's this thing called chemistry that can just not work. Now, of course, like when you come across trashy women and you just have money, yeah, like they will just mess with you because of that. But which is generally you can find a demographic where that's the majority for sure. But the concept that especially that a guy can get, especially a guy, the concept that a guy can get any woman he wants, that is. He can get any woman who's a strictly gold digger, or a hooker or something like that. He can get any woman like in that area. But let's say on the other side, he goes to a university campus where women are actually working their brains and thinking on some level, especially like where I'm talking about like a specialized field of this. That's not going to work anywhere near as much. And I'm not saying it can't still influence them, because it can, but like I said, most guys and most people really ain't hanging out at universities that much longer, or places of thought. They're not really working at museums. Like I got a neighbor here. She's, I don't know how old she is, but she's older, and she was working at a life insurance company. And I remember, because this was New Year's. This was the New Year's before my son was born. Because we were sitting in my kitchen, and she brought up some champagne. I was drinking the champagne because my wife, she couldn't drink because she was pregnant. And I was sitting on the table. I was sitting on the table, and they were sitting down drinking. And she said she was looking for a man. And she said the life insurance company, like all the men her age were either married or like mean to her, because not mean to her. She would call it mean, but they weren't being mean to her. And I remember she said, as long as it wasn't a French, because she just didn't want to date a French man. She said French men are just too feminine, which, I don't know, but sure, whatever. So months later, I heard that she was going to work at a museum. I said, okay, no, that day. She said she was going to leave that life insurance job, go work at the main museum in Prague. I said, no, that is a good thing. And I said, I told my wife, I said, you know why I think that's a great idea? Because anybody who's going to walk in that building is going to be about something. Because when people go on vacation, most people don't go pay to learn something. Okay, if you can get yourself into an area where people are going to pay to learn something, okay, there's a decent chance you got some better options in some capacity, right? Yeah, she still didn't find a man because she's just old. But it is what it is, but yeah. Oh, you see, what you say? You lost money. She needs to be happy she got a man. Well, at 37, yeah, for sure. But like, see with this situation, I think this is more of a survivor's guilt situation. She accidentally survived her 30s by at least being able to keep up her physical appearance to mimic that of a younger woman, and it's survivor's guilt. Like, she knows what's coming. This is survivor's guilt. Now the guy is just kind of just like chilling, just moving along. He's getting pussy in a woman who's acting at least somewhat decent to him, so he's just like oblivious. You know what I mean? Like, he's just okay, whatever. I'm just busting nuts, and I got a woman to touch, so I'm cool. Like, he just probably ain't really giving it too much thought. But she is, and she knows.
Every single thing. That us as guys, sometimes we don't do that.
But I say that to say how, like, what is a man like you? Because a lot of people in our circle are like you. Well, not like you, but
Right, I'm finna say.
they ain't like you, but you know what I mean. But how
do they do it?
what are the intangibles?
I don't know. They can't. It's hard. I'm sorry.
No, you gotta give hope, babe.
I'm giving hope.
That's zero hope.
It's the crazy thing about it is the women that qualify, they know. They already know.
Okay, so for the young women,
the people that we speaking to probably just not it.
Okay, so I agree with you. How do they become it?
Man, y'all regular still.
I don't know, man. Y'all got me feeling like Kevin Samuel or something. Be reincarnated. I don't know. It's it's hard out here, y'all.
Who is this guy?
You just gonna leave them on no hope?
How do you asking them?
Can you give them 5 characteristics or traits? 5.
That,
and you can't say energetically because we know where it came from.
I'm gonna read that distraction.
That a man is looking for in a woman. That's a fair question.
all right. Beautiful.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay.
In shape.
I'm gonna lump that with
Let's
beautiful.
go with beautiful.
So
just nice.
Oh, okay.
Being like I said, you the nicest, jolliest person I know.
Sarah is not nice. She's
I'm
Ooh,
kind.
She may not be nice to you.
Well, I'm saying she's kind.
I'm not a pushover, is what you're
No,
saying.
she's not a pushover.
That's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
and I've heard you say this before. Like, that's your version of nice. Nice, polite, just a joyful person to be around.
Okay, that's fair.
Like,
That's fair.
that's what I mean.
Okay.
Just being a joyful person.
Okay.
We got 2 down. Having some good, sex helps.
No, because we don't teach women to have sex quickly.
Oh,
We didn't have sex quickly.
all right. So
This man don't sound like nothing that she's ever preached about or has explained on a podcast on what she's trying to acquire or keep. This dude, it's hilarious.
take that away then. What's another quality?
Sound like a regular guy.
Being available.
No.
What? Not a hoe.
Okay. Not promiscuous.
Bro, this is
That
strange.
helps.
Okay, beautiful fit, joyful disposition. Don't be promiscuous. This is good. We're getting somewhere.
We getting somewhere.
Okay. Do you care if she's smart? Would you rather have?
Yeah, I care if she's smart.
Would you rather have a beautiful idiot, meaning her IQ is low, or a universally unattractive woman that's nurturing, loving, caring, there for you, is supportive, encouraging, and successful monetarily?
I'd rather have a beautiful idiot.
That's 2-0 right now.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy. He just said he'd rather have a beautiful idiot instead of the monetary part added into it or the intelligence. He said a beautiful idiot. Now, I
Okay,
don't know-
yeah. See, now at that point, I think a lot of men are in trouble. if it's going towards a beautiful idiot. Like I said, and that's where I was going earlier. I don't think he's around. Well, I don't know, but like I said earlier, the girls who are, you have to be pretty much just you have to be in a position of being higher in higher education to get around young pretty girls who can actually have intelligence. Because it's almost like most of society is almost not even aware that these women exist. I've noticed that. Like I don't think they're even aware. These women are these women are just kind of like just completely flying under the radar and are generally kind of struggling in the dating market because of it. Because they're just off always in university or working some specific job and stuck in those little confined areas. And it's really rough, man. It really is. Because there's plenty of younger women who can, but you have to be in those areas. You can't. The odds of you finding that at like a coffee shop or anything, see, those are going to be the fakers. The girls who will be in Starbucks and in these coffee shops, these stereotypical places, those are going to be. You have to find these girls in libraries. You have to find these girls where okay, like I said a long time ago, how you can tell somebody's really dirty in their apartment. Check places check the places that cannot be cleaned in 2 seconds, like a microwave. If once that gets dirty and they let it crust over, you can't clean that in 2 minutes, in a minute, not completely well, right? So it's a similar thing with finding women who aren't just like a general average dumb dingbat woman. You got to find them in areas where like they have to dedicate time for it. Like I said, libraries, dedicated programs in university, not like the communications department or like bullshit art department. It could be art, but like for example, we met me and my Russian friend. We met these Ukrainian and Uzbekistan girls. They were taking art here in Prague, but they were taking real art. These bitches was doing legit sculptures, all right, and they showed them to us. They were doing like real art that actually takes time to do, not some little silly shit. You know, like go find a woman who get her. You got to get around these women, not at concerts. That is old goofy basic normie shit. Stay away from those women are generally gonna be just I'm not saying statistical trash can't be in these other fields, but you're gonna have a much higher chance of coming across these types of women. Well, what kind of women being in a man? And that's as far as her brain goes. You're gonna find these types of women more like line up to go to concerts, going to Starbucks, this kind of silly shit, you know. Like you got to go to places where women are doing things where they have to apply some time to what they're doing. It's hard, man. At this point, that's the only route that I know. Maybe somebody else knows a better route. Like if she's a professional swimmer or whatever, like professional gymnast, it has to be something directly that she does and it takes time to do. You go find a woman like that. Stay away from these women working in call centers. Stay away from these women working just these little basic HR jobs. Stay away from them women, dude. Stay away. Unless you get lucky and find a decent one somewhere, like on accident. From my history, looking back on my life, I went with the village girls. I went with some city girls. I went with some college girls, and to date, the only ones that looking back, the only ones that I ever looked back on and was like, I wouldn't mind talking to her now. Actually, there was one girl. She sent me a friend's request and I never seen it. I was with my wife in the food court and I was showing her on my Instagram and I seen she had sent a friend request 8 years ago. I never seen it. I was like, oh, she probably thinks I hate her. Oh my God, that was 8 years ago. So I immediately hit accept friend or whatever the fuck on Instagram. I never seen it. Just never seen it. Um, but yeah, out of all the women that I've ever, the only ones who consistently made that transition into aging well were the ones who went off to get some serious education. All the other ones got because even with the college girls, the ones who got fat, end up single mother with 3 kids and all this, they were all the ones who dropped out. Every single one of them, all of them. The one girl actually wrote me. She was trying to catch up on old times. She wrote me while I was holding my son. He was like 6 months old. I remember I was holding him like this, but I had like the phone next because he was sleeping. He was either asleep or crying. He was terrible as a small baby. And I had my phone, and I thought, and I seen a message saying like, "Hey, what's up, blah blah," blah. And I was about to immediately delete it, but then I had just seen the first name, and I recognized the first name, and I looked. I said, "Oh, that's the girl. I had the girlfriend I had, the one of the girlfriends I had in college." And I looked at her profile, and she now has 3 kids, and she's a single mom. And her arms, she's not like fat like up this way, but her arms are just like, she just got fat like, and she was using a filter for like her eyelashes, and it was just terrible. So I think I wrote her back like, oh hey, like no big deal, it's fine, whatever. And she goes, well, how have you been? And I just left it on red and never wrote her back. Not interested. A single mother in Ohio with 3 kids and no education. Yeah. It's not ideal. I just left her on red. Never wrote her. 8 years, PD. It was 8 years. Yeah. We was in the food court, and I was like, oh my God. It was on Instagram. That's how bad I am with Instagram. Jesus Christ. What's the max age gap a man should be looking for in a date when he's in his 30s? I mean, honestly, like it depends on where you are, man. Like it depends on like your friends group, your circle, and all that. Like I said, if the women are young and educated, and worldly experience, 20 is perfectly fine in my opinion. Now, whether she feels like that, I don't know. But from my perspective, if it's a 20-year-old who has no direction in life, she's working at fucking Annie Ann's Pretzel or some goofy shit like that, and it is at that point, yeah, it's gonna be super awkward, and I probably wouldn't recommend a 20-year-old at that point. Outside of just like if you can just laugh together and have sex a couple times for her body, but like there's nothing more in that. But if you're in your 30s, it depends on where you are. It depends on where you are and what you're doing. But generally speaking, like I said, like she had 20, early 20s is okay as long as she has some type of profession that she is doing. Like for example, I follow this one girl on Instagram. She's a race car driver, but she's younger though. And I'm not saying like to date her because she's young. She's like 16 or 17, but like because she always talks about the part on the car that she fixed, and she's a race car driver. Like I think her family had brought her up doing that, and I'm so proud of that girl. I'm proud of her father. I'm proud of her parents, and I'm proud of her because she's legit out there in them Miatas. Was it not Miata? The Mazdas. Those because those are usually the good beginner race cars because they handle very well by default, and they're cheap. So if you wreck it, it's not like an extremely expensive thing to fix. And she does it. I follow her on Instagram, and I'm super proud of her. Now, if she was 20, I would date. I would happily try to talk to her because she has something going. So again, it just depends on the 20-year-old girl. It really depends. And here's the thing: it's not really so much that they're 20. It's just where a typical woman, where a typical person's brain is going to be at, right? So like, If a typical woman is working these little odd high school jobs, well, she's not around people who are thinking. She's not around people who have any reason to be charismatic or to push boundaries or anything like that. So it's a low chance that she's going to have any of this in her, whether she's 20 or she's 50. It doesn't matter. She's a waste of human space at this point that can only be used for her body. Okay, to be very clear about it. So it's not necessarily the age, but when you're 30. Either you got to find somebody who's also 30 and doing that, or is on their way up to do something on the same level as that, is where I'm getting at. Yeah, oh yeah. Watch Myron Gaines Black argue. Okay, let's type that in. Myron Gaines Black argue. What's this? Is this it? It says Myron Gaines gets confronted by black men over his views on black women. Watch triggered hater fight. I'm just gonna type that in. Triggered hater tried to fight. Hang on, try to fight Myron over Myron. Okay, I think that was it. Okay, well, no, this is exactly what I just typed, so let's do this.
You sit up here and then you downgrade black women. You talk shit about black women, but all your staff is black.
Yeah, that means I'm not racist.
So
Good
how
job.
do you
Hey, somebody's got to call out the fucking monkey behavior, like right now. So this is monkey
I'm
behavior.
a monkey.
Yeah, this is a monkey behavior right now. Yeah, you're not making any real arguments. You're just talking about race, blah, blah, blah. This is the problem, bro. This is the problem with y'all.
If I'm a nigga walk up here and throw the drink in your face and then you know what's up.
Okay, he was, Myron was all the way wrong for that. He was all the way wrong for calling him a monkey like that. That is some pre-Trumper shit. That's some Zoe Saldana shit. Yeah, like he was all the way wrong for that. He was all the way wrong for that.
Yeah, this is a monkey behavior. Hey, somebody's got to call out the fucking monkey behavior, like right now. So this is monkey.
Yeah, Myron's always. Okay, so let's be clear. How Charlie Kirk got shot the way he did. Now, if Myron had got shot for talking like that, I would think it was funny. Because he was all the way wrong for that. Because the dude talking to him, well, I don't know. We'll watch the whole thing. Maybe this is out of context. But as of right now, the dude on the right seems pretty calm and collected, and he's just talking. And he's just jumps and calls him a monkey behavior and all this shit. Right? Like I said, like how Charlie Kirk got shot after he said gang violence, he deserved, like if he got that shit, like it would be borderline funny to me. Because he just completely crossed the line. Like, right there. If it had been towards a white dude, and he called the white dude like a fucking cracker because it's a cracker behavior, you immediately cross the line, bro. See, the social media has a lot of people feeling like they can just say shit. You know what I mean? Like, had they been in a bar, he probably wouldn't have said something like that. I think. Yeah, that he completely crossed the line right there. But let's watch.
I'm a monkey.
Yeah, this is a monkey behavior right now. Yeah, you're not making any real arguments. You're just talking about race, blah, blah, blah. This is the problem, bro. This is the problem with y'all.
If I'm a nigga walk up here and throw the drink in your face and then you know what's up.
Oh, you gonna do that?
Yeah,
oh,
probably.
He should.
That won't be good, bro.
I'm hamming to them.
That won't be good.
He should.
My man, where'd you get your game from?
My what?
Where'd you get your game from?
My game?
Yeah, like, where you get your game from? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'm going to assume you mean my knowledge. A multitude of different places. Experience, other people's experiences. I read quite a bit on...
I'm talking about your experience.
Well, I'm telling you,
What's your experience with black women? What's your experience with your game? I'm not talking about how many books you read, other people's experience. Where your game
Well,
from?
I quite literally said my game. I said my experiences, other people's experiences.
What's your
reading.
experience?
Well, I mean, I've talked to more women than any other man probably on the internet.
Keep talking about other women. I'm talking about your experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm explaining it to you.
Why you hate black women so much?
Oh, I hate black women?
You talk down on black women. I'm talking about your experience, not everybody, all the books you read. I'm talking about your experience.
All right, so you clearly have a position here. What is your
No
position?
Say he's not actually saying. Okay, right now he's not actually saying. So he's clearly showing that he has no experience at this point. He has no experience actually dating black women. I do, because I'm actually black and I've actually dated black women. So right now, right off the bat, it's kind of clear that he doesn't, like, it's like Donald Trump talking about Mexicans. This fool's never even touched a Mexican. He's never bumped shoulders with a Mexican. You know what I mean? But he triggers a certain population about it to get them to get them under him. It's a similar situation so far.
No, well,
women.
Here's the thing. You hear me, but you're not listening. I answered your question multiple times.
You just said.
And you want to come to the conclusion of
people you know. I'm talking about your experience, King.
I told
not
you.
Here to disrespect your black form.
Okay.
I'm just talking about your experience.
I told you. I've dated several women. Talked to them on the podcast. I've talked to more women than any other YouTuber. Okay.
What women you dated? What race you dated?
Yeah. 3,600. Yep. We've spoken to 3,600 girls on the show. I've talked to
I'm
thousands
No,
of black women.
that's
I've
not
dated
what he's
black women.
asking.
I understand.
Date a black
That's not
woman.
what he's asking.
Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay, so that one black woman that you dated discriminate every black woman. Because I watch your shit, and I respect you. You got a cool little platform. But I'm thinking you're making money off of other niggas' experience. And then at the end of the day, and you sit up here like big old mighty, like, yo, I got experience to downgrade my peoples, my culture. But go ahead, tell me all the books you read.
Yeah. So what's your disagreement then? Do you have like an actual position here?
No, until you listen. I respect
because what you're saying is you're basically saying, oh, you don't have experience. I don't.
I'm a black man. My mom is black. My sister's black. I love black women. But at the end of the day, you sit up here and then that you downgrade black women because you're one experience. It's
actually
just like,
multiple.
Prime example. It's just like a white girl that took advantage of a black man. Now she don't want to date no black man in the world.
Here's the thing. I don't, because the way he's defending it, I don't think he's ever been with a black woman, because he knows there's no way we can prove it. Because if he did, he could elaborate more deeply. He would immediately. I know how guys get with this shit. They would immediately go, yeah, because da 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 da, and we were in da 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 da. It's like, well, I dated more. Like it's that same Charlie Kirk shit. I have a black friend, yeah, sure. I have a black friend, yeah. And that'll just be it, because he doesn't have a black friend.
That one bad experience he had. That's how you sound like.
So anyway, I've spoken to hundreds of black women. I've dated them before,
okay,
etc. Now here's the thing. Okay, are you gonna let me speak?
Go ahead, talk.
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. I get it. You want to put the cape on and cape for black women, but the reality is, all women have bad habits from here to there, and there's stereotypes. And stereotypes tend to be based on pattern recognition.
But you
or over.
talk down on black women.
I talk down on everybody, honestly. It's just that.
What's your national land? Where you from?
What does that have to do with anything?
It has everything to do with it.
It has absolutely nothing to do.
Race,
that has nothing to do with anything. Someone's race. If I say something is objectively true or it tends to be true, it doesn't matter what my race is. Do I have to be a mathematician to say 1 + 1 is 2? No. It's an objective fact. The reality is this with black women. On average, they weigh about 187 pounds. They tend to be rude. They tend to be crass. They tend to not respect male authority because a lot of them grow up in fatherless households. So these are stereotypes that tend to happen all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So
but that's the new generation of women. OnlyFans.
It's pattern
black
recognition.
Women, white girls, but you can as more black women.
Again, I'm critical of all races. It's just that people tend to remember. I'm critical of everybody. The thing is that black women tend to be the most sensitive and get the most butthurt about it. They can't take criticism.
But
and then it's funny.
The thing is, you talk shit about black women, but all your staff is black.
Yeah, that means I'm not racist.
So
Good
how
job.
these niggas work
that
for
shows
you?
I'm actually not a racist. Good job.
You are no. What it is that you're a slave master, and you enslave black people to work for you, and at the same time you talk shit about their mothers, their sisters, their aunties, their uncles, their families, and they work for you. I don't see not one white staff that work for you. I don't see the black.
Black girl right there.
What they at? Oh, that one security.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. You know, bro, let me be honest with you, bro. This is the problem, right?
Talk to me.
You came in here and you immediately made it about race.
No.
Let's have a real conversation here.
I want you.
No. Black people are the most racist people ever. You came in here and immediately made the conversation about race, talking about race. You guys perpetuate the very stereotypes and the racism that you guys complain about the most. And this is why I make fun of black people too. Now, here's the thing. Y'all look at me and say, oh, you're not one of us. You're not black. I am. I'm African-American by definition. But if you don't want to go ahead and consider me black, fine. I don't want to be with y'all niggas anyway. But the point I'm trying to make is that you made this immediately about race. As soon as you came up, what's your knowledge with women? And I'm like, all right, well, here's my experiences. Oh, well, what's your thing about black women? So you came in here with an agenda to complain about my criticism of black women when I literally criticize everybody. Everybody gets criticized. It just so happens that they tend to get the most butthurt. What are you talking about? Am I done? This is my shit, man.
And I respect your shit.
This is my shit, bro. What you talking about? Am I done? Like, this is my shit, bro.
I get what you shit. But at the end of the day, everything you talk about. Because you got to understand this. We got a right to, even though our black women ain't shit, but we came out of black pussy. We came out of poverty.
This is let me talk. This is a low IQ argument, bro. This is a low IQ argument. Just because it's like
I'm low key.
No, I said low IQ argument.
Why? Because you was in the FBI and you would take a bunch of tests and you this and you got so much.
Okay, no, he's probably okay. I think he was still out of line for calling him a monkey, but like, yeah, he doesn't have the ability. I think I know where he's trying to go, but he's not. He's not the dude to sit on a microphone. He's not somebody you want to put on a microphone to debate anything with, because he's going to start fucking up. But even with that being said, calling him a monkey like that, like he still deserved to get hurt for that.
When the one black girl that you dated in your whole life of your career, you read a bunch of books, you know a bunch of friends, and you know so much of black, you got 2 white employees, and now you're not racist. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like I said, you a bigot.
Bro. Okay.
I watch your shit.
Okay. So, well.
You disrespect black women.
Yes, here's the thing. I'm a proud bigot, man. Proud bigot, proud racist, sure.
I'm glad you said it.
Yep.
Conversation.
Because, hey, somebody's got to call out the fucking monkey behavior, like, right now. So, this is monkey behavior.
I'm a monkey.
Yeah.
This is monkey behavior right now.
Nah, he still crossed the line with that. Even though, now, I will say that dude on the right, he's not somebody, I think I know where he's trying to go with it, but he's not somebody you want to put on a microphone. He doesn't really know what to do. But even with that being said, that was a big line that was crossed. Like, so if the dude did go up there and like fight him or punch him or throw something at him or even shoot him, like, I'm like, well, it's just like with Charlie Kirk, like, yo, I can't blame, you know what I mean? Like, well,
Chipping out. Chipping out.
Yeah, you came up here trying to disrespect, so
I'm
it is
not
what it is.
disrespect you. I'm just telling you what you preach.
Yo, you chipping out. You're not making any real arguments. You're just talking about race, blah, blah, blah. This is the problem, bro.
That's what you do.
This is the problem with niggas, bro. This is the problem with y'all. This is some nigga shit right now.
You gonna call me a nigga, but you can't tell me where you from. Are you a nigga?
Look,
where you from?
You watch the show, right?
Where you from?
Sudan. Family's from Sudan, yeah.
Okay, a Middle Eastern nigga.
But now it's
talking shit about black niggas.
It's North Africa.
Talk about black.
It literally means the land of the blacks. You know that, right?
But you downgrade black women.
What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? I go off behavior. When they act like retards, I call them retards. This right now is retarded behavior, regardless of your skin color. If you're a white dude saying this dumb shit, I'd say you're a retard too. It's retarded behavior.
Because I'm telling you, you downgrade black women. I'm a retard.
He's a fool.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, this is low IQ. It's low IQ. 100% low IQ.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, my nigga, that's why they demonetize you on YouTube.
Sure, and I still make more money than you.
Hey, I know you do.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? You're still a bigot at the end of the day.
A proud one, too. I got my clan hood in the other room.
And guess what? I guarantee your girl's a white girl.
No, she ain't actually, no.
Nigga, I see you walk around with that weak-ass dog, nigga. With your white bitch. Come on, dude. You don't like black bitches.
This dude's stalking, bro. This dude's stalking.
Huh?
This dude's stalking, man.
So, like I said, I didn't come to disrespect you.
No, you tried and you failed. That's the problem. You tried.
No, you
failed.
No, do your thing, King.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can't handle conversation.
There's no conversation.
Yeah, no, he's a fool. The dude on the right's a fool. But he did cross the line by calling him a monkey. Like, like if the dude had went up there and punched him or something like that, it would have been in proper place. But he is a fool. He's I don't know if he's just drunk and a fool or he could just be a fool in general. I don't know. But yeah, that's not somebody who really needs to be doing public speaking. Because that shit was like going nowhere from his side. So like, yeah. Yeah, JM. Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking more along because the areas where he was going does make sense. In that this is the hard part about like when colored people come to America in any kind of way versus them being like African American. Like when they if they weren't completely born there and all their heritage is there, like this is a severe disconnect that can happen in people like the Myron dude, right? Like he will like I can tell by how he talks. Like there is some parts of that history and culture, or just actual legit logic, like basic crime rates. Like for example, how Alaska has the highest crime. Alaska literally has the highest crime rate of all states in North America. But see, I guarantee you, Charlie Kirk doesn't bring that up. And it's 93% white. Yeah. Alaska is literally, it has the highest crime rate of any state. And see when people come see and that's why I didn't really okay, that's what really rubbed me the wrong way about Myron too, because he sound like Charlie Kirk. He's one like when people automatically know stats about black people, that is a huge red flag that they are fucked up mentally, because they'll never know these stats. How Alaska, which I'm pretty sure. Let's do this. What? I want to say it's 93% white, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I'm actually off. No, it's actually lower. So it's six. Well, let's go to a legit. Blah blah blah. It's because in Alaska, actually, the lowest population in Alaska are black, but nobody ever talks about this. Mostly because racist people don't like to hear facts that don't push that black people are just the demons of society. Let's do this. How many people? Alaska population, Alaska, ethnicity, race. Here we go. Right here. So, you see this? This is where I guarantee you, Charlie Kirk or Thomas Sowell, these guys never bring these facts up. You think is that a coincidence? You think that's a coincidence that Thomas Sowell, Charlie Kirk, I bet Myron Gaines probably doesn't bring these facts up, but they'll always immediately know facts about black people. It just flows out the tongue so quickly, just so fast, like without even, there's no hesitation. But when it's a fact about white people, oh well, there must be as in the words of Thomas Sowell, where there must be a reason why the white people were bad and evil and did have high crime rates. Yes. Simply speaking, violent crimes are committed against people. Property crimes are not. These crime rates are not clear. Area provides blah blah blah. Alaska is literally the highest crime rate. In 2024, the violent crime rate in Alaska was higher than the U.S. average, but the property crime rate was lower. So these motherfuckers are up there hurting each other. Now, if you leave it to Thomas Sowell, Charlie Kirks, these people would never ever. I guarantee you, they'd be like, huh? What? Why is that? Isn't that such a coincidence? that the state with the highest crime rate is a state with the least amount of black people. Isn't that odd? I would love to hear Thomas Sowell's response. Thomas Sowell would jump through hoops to please them guilty whites about that reality. Thomas Sowell, please save us, please, please. But they don't know this. Why is it that these facts? Why did these facts never come out? And it actually has the lowest population. Sorry, the second lowest population. The second lowest part of the population is black. And that by far has the highest crime rate. I don't like on Wikipedia. Why is it these facts are they never come up? Okay, where are they actually basing this off of? Okay, so violent crime, property crime, blah blah blah. Like these facts never come up. Well, yeah, they only know the stats they intentionally search for. Yeah, yeah, and my or RO, yeah, and I always find that to be awkward too. Like, why is it that like these guys like what is with these? Okay, I don't even say the N word. I'm a 100% black. I never say the N word like cool, like I'm cool with you. I thought it was messed up that Dave Chappelle said the N word. I don't think, and I've always said that. And I remember I used to say it back when everybody just assumed Dave Chappelle was from the hood. And I knew where he was from Yellow Springs. I've been to Yellow Springs. Yellow Springs is far from, and I mean literally and financially and logistically far from the hood. Okay. I've been to Haha's Pizza. I know where that shit's at. The comic book store that's a little bit down the street from there. It's a nice comic book store actually. I know where that shit's at. Them little shitty art stores where they go to the junkyards and paint a fucking piston black and sell it for $500. I know where that shit's at. Yeah, I think it's a Shell and a Speedway up on that corner across the street from Haha's Pizza. And Dave Chappelle's walking around saying the N word. And I remember I was telling my friend Brandon, I said, look, he shouldn't be saying the N word because he's not from the hood. And Brandon was getting mad, arguing with me about it, saying, no, Dave Chappelle's from the hood. Blah blah. And then on that Netflix, there's a Netflix special where Dave Chappelle finally came out and admitted. He said, look, people let me get away with that because I'm a big black dude and I just let it slide. But he said, no, I'm not from the hood. It was I want to say it was his first Netflix special back. He came back and admitted that shit on stage. So I don't understand where these DJ Khaled's and these guys think they could just say the N-word. Like I find that shit like, I find it's extremely awkward. It's not cool. The Myron dude has a little bit more of that Westerner in him. So like it's a little more comfortable in my opinion. At least he feels a little more Western. It's slightly more acceptable, but even then, it's still it doesn't fit, in my opinion. It doesn't fit. Javi, well, yeah. You never acknowledge it was. They never acknowledge it was a white person who actually killed him. Yeah, no, it'll never be. It has to be unless okay, unless the white person must have been suffering from extreme mental illness because something had to like it would be a Thomas Sowell excuse. Like something would have had to trigger it. Then it would be oh, he feels so sorry for him. But it was a black dude. He did it because he just did it. That's why. Because he just did it. He did it because he did it because he did it. Now, if the killer had been white, it's like, oh, well, maybe he suffered from depression. Yeah. Let me tell you, mental health was the great white American retaliation to slavery in North America. I'm going to go on this rant for another hour. This whole concept of mental health was literally the great American white retaliation to slavery in America. Right? Because whenever you can get into an argument with a person in school or anywhere in America, before mental health took off, all you had to do was bring up slavery and the white people couldn't say anything. No matter what the argument was about, you could just beat it with slavery. And the white person had to go, oh, well, I don't want to sound racist, so I'll just take it. Oh. And then when they found out that they could be special because they was a little sad last Tuesday, they took that shit and ran with it. Motherfuckers around the world. Well, I'm depressed too. I'm depressed. Yeah, see, we suffer too. We suffer too. And the motherfuckers ran away with that shit, dude. Now they talking about mental health days. That was the great white retaliation of the early 2000s. We had even a goddamn playing field. Just give them medication. I don't know. We just even it out. Like, remember Batman evening the odds? When he jumped in that Batmobile, he was like, what are you doing? Evening the odds. Depression, anxiety. Take me seriously now. This shit's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm guessing you don't like. Oh no, Drake. No, absolutely not, Javi. No. Well, it's just that it's okay. I don't even know how. I don't really here to be 100% honest with you. It doesn't even matter how he grew up. Just a him type of dude shouldn't be saying the N word. It doesn't. I don't even know where. I could just look at him and sense it that he shouldn't be saying it. Because here's the thing: everybody in the hood doesn't say the N word. I remember I was thinking about this old friend I used to have when I used to go to the Emmanuel Center down and over the Rhine. Um, I was there with all the kids, and they were usually from that area. But they, like I said, they've gentrified it now, so it's all rebuilt. But this was before 2000s. I was going there, and probably in the early, well, no, I think by the time I hit high school, I pretty much quit going by that point. But this was like before the 2000s, before Over the Rhine had been gentrified. Now there's like a trolley and shit everywhere. It was not like that when I was a kid. People just walk down the street and just start pissing. It was hood shit, like dirty, like not completely dirty, but dirty hood shit. And I remember like not all the kids, like the thing is like down there, like not all the kids walked around saying the N word and looking for fights, and it wasn't like see these little guys like Myron and these DJ Khaled's are so confused on reality again because they never lived it. They kind of got their heads hyped by by this false validation of social media, but I can see it in them like by how they talk. They've never actually really seen anything or done much of anything. So like I said, like every summer, my dad, I could probably call my dad and he'll verify when I went to him. Matter of fact, let me call. I'll call him right now. Tell him when I went to Emmanuel. Let me text him and tell him I'm doing a live stream, I'll have him tell you when we went to. Hang on, can I call you on a live stream to talk about? I'm texting him right now. I say, can I call you on a live stream to talk about the Emmanuel Center? But yeah, they didn't walk around saying it it wasn't like that. It really like this delusion that these suburban guys have about the hood. These guys who you can tell clearly never. I mean, they probably like walk down a couple rough streets. These Myrons and and these DJ Khaled's, they probably seen a couple rough streets and hopped in a car and skedaddled. But they like that. It's very clear that they never really actually fully sat there and slept and existed in these worlds. They might have had a couple rough days where they didn't have something to eat, something like that. And I highly even doubt that. But they've never actually lived life in any capacity. So, like I said, when I would go to camp down there, it wasn't like I don't know where these guys are coming up with this. Yeah, I'm black too. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know where they're getting this, and then they got to carry themselves a certain way. Like those guys, which I really do like them, but there's these guys I think they're called RDC, and they're always like walking around saying the N word and talking like this. And these dudes are from the suburbs. Like I can see it in them, or if they're not from this. They've had a lot of experience with the suburbs because I'm a suburb black dude. Okay, and and I've been my family's from these rougher areas. My aunt I was talking to is still in a borderline rough area now. I was talking to for 2 hours. I'm highly educated, and I'm potentially corny in some parts of North America because of how I talk. But I understand these differences. You see, so like when I'm waiting for him to text me back. So when I would go to the Emmanuel Center. The building was like it was rough. It had like 6 or 7 floors. It was rough. Like it was just all destroyed. But we were kids. We would go in there and I remember we drink Kool-Aid and color shit and go outside and play basketball, whatever the fuck. And we go on field trips every Tuesdays and Thursdays. They would take us on field trips throughout the city. I remember that. And more times than not, like the kids would be rough, but it wasn't this everybody's an N-word and everybody's got to fight all the time. And it was never anything like that. Like I said, these clowns on YouTube selling you this bullshit is completely, it's ridiculous. It was never like that. So, and I still remember that I had 2 friends and my dad, he'll probably remember them if he writes me back. It was a guy and a girl. It was brother and sister. The guy's name was Keith, and the girl's name was Denise. And they were just peaceful. It wasn't this. See, too many guys been watching too many Akon videos and shit. Like, you mean they watch too much Styles P. These rappers, they've been watching too many rap videos, and they got it confused with real life. It wasn't any of these. I mean, yeah, there were pockets of these people who existed, and they definitely were there, but it wasn't the norm at all. But now that rap music is taken off, and now everybody's got to fight me tougher. I'm sure it's probably expanded since then. But like I said, when I was a kid, it wasn't these. It just simply these rap videos and these guys walking around saying the N word like it's cool and it makes them a cool black guy. Like it's just complete delusion. Well, even Dave Chappelle, that's Dave Chappelle doing it was nothing but complete. That was just for lack of better word, just wrong. There was no reason for Dave Chappelle to say it. Okay, he was sitting on Muhammad Ali's lap and his mother was a doctor. Why are you walking around saying the N-word? Because you think you want to be like them. When everybody I ever knew that was down there was trying to come out here and be like us. So why are you trying to imitate that image from rap videos and Netflix to walk around saying the N-word? You see, it's the Myrons that are fucked up. It's these guys who are really, because they're trying to fit this delusional image in their head of what they think is cool and synonymous with struggle and we were all one and all this. So I'm going to say the N word with you guys. Like, dude, that word is known throughout the world and everybody knows that word is offensive unless it's for black people. And even then, you got delusional people in these circles like Dave Chappelle, right? Who played that role up forever. He still plays it and gets away with it because nobody's going to call him out on it, right? Because he's a big black dude. Simple as that, right? Jobby, so most people in the hood have regular jobs. It's not the norm to walk around like that. Well, like I said, things could have changed, or it could be different hoods. Where I was at, any hood I've ever seen was never like that. Yeah, I'm sure there's rougher places for sure. JM, yeah, and like where I was in Dayton, like, because I would have girlfriends off in these rougher areas in Dayton, Ohio. I was living pretty much in the inner city. Of course, you're gonna have like hood characteristics, like streetwalkers. Back then you had drug dealers standing outside all day, these kind of things like that. But it's like JM said, pretty much as long as you just show respect and stay in your own lane, you're not gonna have any problems unless it's like a random, alignment of the stars kind of thing. But this whole thing of this whole image, this facade of like, let's just use like Myron as an example. Like I could look at him and tell he's not one of those. Now he probably went to the gym, worked out a little bit, and drank some muscle milk, so he has a little bit of muscle. Probably took a couple, jiu-jitsu classes, so now he thinks he can fight. He's probably one of these guys. But he's a tax return tattoo guy. He gets these tax returns, go gets a tattoo, and now he's a thug now. Or now he thinks he's part of that. And you're not. I'm not. And I'm black. Okay, so I'm not trying to single Myron out on this because that's where he took it with where the drunk dude was talking. Okay, I'm not trying to single him out to say he's not one of us because I'm not one of us in that that us is a figment of the imagination. It's a figment. It's imagination. It's media driven imagination. Now you have black people who are feeding into that. I'm not going to act like that's not a thing. But it's just not real for the most. I mean, you got people who try to talk cool and all that, but it's completely ridiculous. You make tons of money buying and selling bullshit. Truth does not make you money. You need to be a clown to make money. Yeah. Yeah, RDC World. Oh, they are from the suburbs. Yeah, like I said, I think they're funny. I think they're great. I love every skit they do. But I can tell these dudes are not. They're not. I mean, and some of them probably actually do know how to fight. I'm not saying they don't know how to fight, but they're not. They shouldn't be saying the N-word. I could tell by how they say it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean, okay. Now to be fair, there are some who could be like that in the actual hood who can say it. I'm not saying it's a overall thing, but I always had a suspicion immediately when I saw them, right? But then there's others who would completely fool you. I think like was it Ice Cube? Like he never, if I'm not mistaken, Ice Cube never grew up in the hood. If I'm not mistaken, he just made up that either him or Ice-T. They made up the entire persona for rap. But yeah, so then, and I mean, that is such a complicated topic. I don't have enough time for it 'cause I'm getting ready to get off here now. But it's a very complicated topic. What are your views on Tommy? I don't even know who that is. Was that the guy I was just watching, Tommy Sotomayor or whatever? Oh no, I don't even know who's Tommy. I gotta pee too. I've been drinking his water. Oh, I don't know. He said it rants against black women. I don't know.
Black women are crazy?
Black women have been running around lately and saying, we're the most educated group in the United States. They believe that. Number one, it's not true. But number two, if they believed it, why are they the least educated? That wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. If these women who are raising their children at a 76% clip, single, why are their children as smart as they are since they're so smart?
That's a good question. Black women are crazy?
Yeah.
Black women are crazy?
Well, yeah, because, okay, so perfect example. Because again, see, since I'm actually a decently educated person, I can talk and I can speak in well-rounded forms. Let's use Hitler as an example. I was just telling my dad, because I was telling my wife about this story about Hitler. I'm gonna use the bathroom real fast. I really gotta pee. I'll be right back. But I'm gonna tell a story. I'm gonna tell what happened to Hitler. Hitler fits almost this exact formula. But let me use the bathroom real fast. Okay, I'm back. So with that education speech right there, right? I mean, I get this is just rage baiting shit.
Black women have been running around lately and saying, we're the most educated group in the United States. They believe that. Number one, it's not true. But number two, if they believed it, why are they the least educated? That wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. If these...
So, like, again, in order to have a well-rounded, educated debate on any topic, it's important to actually study other cultures of women and men with education, and what generally tends to happen. Now, that is a general fact throughout history that when given time to grow in any way that's going to provide protection, women will think that they're prepared but are terribly unprepared for it. Because their emotions, they want to feel like they're on the same level as men when it comes to genuinely caring about education or things for survival. So where I was going with the Hitler example earlier. So for anybody who's ever read Mein Kampf, which is like My Struggle, for anybody who's ever read Hitler's autobiography, you're going to know what I'm going to say with this. Why Hitler, on his path of going to art school. Because I told my dad this story, and I was telling my spouse this because she has a life problem going on with it. When Hitler was like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, he wanted to go to art school. So you can Google it, ChatGPT it, whatever. Call me out if I'm wrong. Maybe I missed a few parts in it. But this is generally the overview from what I remember from reading the book, reading the autobiography, was he wanted to go to art school. And he asked, at the time, both of his parents were alive. He asked both his parents. He said, Dad, I want to go to art school. And his dad was like, okay, cool. You can go to art school, but it's not going to be the most lucrative and this and that. But go to art school, but just make sure you study all the other fields that you can before you go so you can be prepared for more things. Because he had to go to Austria. He was living in Germany at the time. He had to go to Austria to go to art school. So, of course, he didn't like that because Dad's always he's not going to tell you this is what you want to hear. He's going to tell you what you need to hear. You got to prepare for the worst. Right? Because nobody's coming to save a boy. Somebody will come and save some pussy, but they're not going to come and save a boy. Okay. He goes to his mother and says, hey, Mom, I want to go to art school. His mother said, okay, just go. Don't worry about the other classes. Just do whatever you feel and go to art and just go to Austria and go to art school. Right? So what did Hitler do? He regretted not listening. He actually writes in his book, he regretted not listening to his father. Because when he went to Austria and he tried getting to art school, his art wasn't bad. And I don't know where this thing came up where he wasn't good at art and he was like drawing horrible. His art wasn't bad. It was that the other students had studied the other prerequisite fields or just the other fields that would propel them more into art. Whereas the person who was going to admit him into art said that you're good at art, but I think you'll be better in like architecture and all this. That was much more advanced, so he needed those other classes to get in to actually do architecture, which is a higher level of art. It needs more education. Well, since he didn't listen to his father, he didn't have any of that, and by this time, his dad had just died. Right, so he stayed in Austria out of the shame and worked these odd jobs to try to get in, and then his mother died. So then he essentially became an orphan at like 15, 16 years old in Austria. And since he listened to his mother, never got any education, just like the evil black women. Okay, Hitler was obviously white. See, if you become a genuinely a person who actually reads and comes up with well-rounded arguments, you would know how to compare and contrast these things, right? So. Since his mother told him to do that, and his mother and father died, now he is now an orphan in Austria working odd jobs with losers, essentially, right? So what he would do is he would go to work, and the losers would argue about politics and this and that, and Hitler never wanted to argue about something he didn't know about. So as soon as he would get off work, if he was working, if he could find a job, he would go to libraries or read any brochure he can get. He would read up on anything he could. And throughout that time, he actually states in this time, he didn't have any hatred for the Jews yet. But what got his attention towards the Jewish people was that the Jewish journalists in Austria were constantly bashing Germany. They were constantly just tearing down Germany any chance they could in brochures. And that's where he first got his awareness on the Jewish journalists. And when I read that, I immediately tried to look up any Jewish journalists in Austria throughout those years, and you can't find anything. Which is, I'm not going to say that's a confirmation, but it really is suspicious. If you can't find one Jewish journalist throughout that whole, I couldn't. Maybe you can. Maybe I did a bad job searching. But I could not find any Jewish journalists in Austria throughout those specific years that he was talking about. It's all just disappeared, right? And there had to have been some. There had to have been. Now, again, maybe I couldn't find it. Maybe I did a bad job. And I'll admit my fault. But that's where he first got his awareness of the Jewish pop, because they were just constantly bashing Germany. They were just just putting out all types of propaganda about Germany that just wasn't true. And that's where he got. But he would go off and read and then go back to work to actually have like an educated, well-rounded argument with the people there that were just complete idiots, right? Generally, like pretty much Charlie Kirk's. Now I would loop Myron up in this boat of just like rambling off all these negative stats. When he can't do the same thing for like, the white population, or maybe okay. let's just use the white population, because at this point I wouldn't put it past him to like truly hate himself, because generally speaking, when people do this, they usually can't have a well-rounded, knowledgeable view. It's only, in one area of it, and especially in these fields where you get paid, well, you don't want to offend your main donators, so you don't ever want to, do that. You don't want to make them feel like they've done anything wrong, or their ancestors, so you just don't touch it. He was a grifting retard. I still want to read that book. I heard a criticism over Hitler as an artist was he lacked perspective. From what I remember, well, at least what he said, it was an autobiography. From what I remember, what he said, the art teacher did. It wasn't that the art teacher didn't like it, but the art teacher wanted. I want to say to become an architect, or it was some higher level. Like he wanted to the art teacher wanted him to go into a field that had more focus on genuinely building shit, and not just like painting random shit. And since he didn't have the requirements, he couldn't make that field that his dad told him to get the whole time. He couldn't get in. Because of that, but yeah, it was really good, man. Like and here's the thing, like I see why they tried to make that book illegal. I really do understand why. I'll get into that all the time, but yeah, I'm getting out of here, man. What's up, NV man? Well, yeah, JM. It's that thing like with Damon Wayans. What Damon Wayans? I just want to show you guys. I know this is funny. I always stumble across this every now and then. I think it's pretty funny. Damon Wayans. What was it? I always thought this is really funny. This is Thomas Sowell to a T.
They want to smooth some shit, but they go get that rich and put you on TV to represent the people, You have you asking your questions like, Damon, now that you made this $13 million, and we're not counting, now that you made all this money, let me ask you this. Let me just throw this out at you. You respond any way you want. Is there racism in America? You be sitting there thinking about that paycheck, talking about, no, sir. If in there is, I ain't seen none. Anytime white people...
Yeah. Because it's stuff I stumble on every now and then. But that's true. That's true. That's Thomas Sowell to a T. Huh? No, there's no racism, because if there's racism, something must have triggered it, so it's not their fault. Do black people steal candy bars? Yes. That's it. They did it because they chose to do it. And it's so disgusting. Like, it's so pathetically disgusting. I mean, that man will literally say anything. Like, literally anything. Because they just hope they're playing on your guilt. Like, that man will say anything, like literally anything. The stuff that I've read that he came up with that is just completely, utterly, and completely false. I mean, not even close to true. Not even in the slightest bit true. I was reading something about where he was talking about international shit, and oh my, it was just because I've actually been to these countries and studied their shit. He literally just made it up. like he will say anything. And then you get like I said, like about a month ago, you get the modern racists. See, America has to be careful with this race. See, Europeans can be racist, but they can just hide. Other countries can be very racist, but they'll just hide it in double speak and or just in their language, so America just won't know. So, but America, since everybody speaks English, they have to hide it. Now the thing is behind facts, but they never know facts about white people. It's only facts about the dirty, lesser people. It's only facts about them. When it's white people, now, he must, first off, okay, but let's say if there's like a murder, right? If it's a black person, his face will be right up here, dressed in the dirtiest clothes, the dirtiest picture they can find. Look, another one did it again. If it's a white person, they gonna start out by going, well, you know, mental health is very serious these days. If anyone is suffering from mental health problems, please call 555-5555. So, we don't know if you've heard, but today there was a shooting, and there was a motive. He had struggled with depression for the last 12 years. He almost didn't eat some days. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just there was just we just don't have any words. There's a black person. He did it. They're violent. Look at the crime rate. Yeah, it's gang violence. Charlie Kirk, it's gang violence. They did it. Yep. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. It really is. And then the sad part, I'm gonna let y'all go with this. The sad part is like the rest of the world sees North America's media and news, and they're so dumb and ignorant that they don't know that they're being like brainwashed and triggered into just believing this shit. Like, and they don't even think to question it, you know. Is white people, oh, it must have been a reason. See, the world doesn't ask about the loans and the money that it gave to the brown countries that were held to very strict repayment plans. But Europe was never held to any strict repayment plan, and in fact, got most of the money for free to rebuild the continent. See, they never talk about, why does Charlie Kirk or Thomas Sowell never bring these things up? It never comes up. Why generally speaking, these brown countries, when they get loan monies and bailout, oh, they're held to some fiscal responsibility that will be enforced. Europe essentially just gets money for free, and wasted all that, right? But Thomas Sowell never knows. He never brings that up. It just happened not to come up. We just didn't know. Yeah, it's not important. Just like when he had an interview with the white guy, and the white guy was like, yeah, that's history. Oh no, nobody cares about that. Yeah, because see, his donator base was getting ready to get their feelings hurt. So he has to do it because he's fucking pathetic. It's fucking gross. I'm not gonna say there aren't some fools. So there's some black guys who are complete fucking fools, 100%. I'm not trying to say that all black people are perfect angels. I'm not trying to, infer that at all. But but that media is a bitch. Again. See, media never brings this up. No, this is AI, but this is the truth. I know this is the truth. See, media never brings this up. Media, most people would never know that. I wonder why. If it's even close, even if it's not correct, let's say they're 5 spots off, but the population has the least amount of black people in it. Why is that a coincidence that this is never talked about widely? You see what I'm saying? Like what? And I guarantee most people watching didn't even know that. But Charlie Kirk wouldn't bring that up. Myron Bates wouldn't bring that. He probably because he doesn't know. Because he Googled what he wanted to find. See, that's the dangers of not being well-roundedly educated in the world. Any recommendations with traveling? I got my TEFL recently. Well, if you want to make more money, go to Asian country, the richer Asian country. Well, I've heard Japan pays like shit, but like China will pay for all your shit. Or if you don't get paid a decent amount for America's wages, you'll get paid a decent amount for their wages. So like I would recommend an Asian country. Europe is probably not so good as it used to be. Well, it was never really great, but Europe's just a mess in general. But I would recommend if you're trying to make money to like continue traveling, go to find an Asian country. But I've heard Japan pays like shit. I've always heard Japan doesn't pay well at all. Japan is very homogeneous. They don't really, have any patience, in general, from what I've heard. I've never been in Japan, but from what I've heard, they don't really like, it's that America syndrome. It's that lone person syndrome. Like, you got to do what they do or get the fuck out. Mo, yeah, I agree, Mo. I'd rather somebody just say they're racist. Yeah. Instead of just hiding behind, using facts as that emotional driven scapegoat of like pretending, Do you know what Ed got? No, but I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna get out of here. So it's because it's late. So y'all have a good night. I might live stream tomorrow. I don't know. I got a lot of work to do. I gotta make a chat bot, but it's a little complicated. I don't know. I haven't even actually looked at it, but I gotta make a specific type of chat bot. But I'm out. So y'all have a good night, man. I'll see you.